Now that that's off.
I'm Ricky Vaughn.
I am Harry Potter man, number 7, the one with long hair.
I pitch fastballs only.
Yeah, give him the heater, Lucius, right? Lucius.
Yeah. Stupefy.
I've got a mug too. A mug? I've got a mitt as well. This is my mitt. There are many
Here.
like it, but this one's mine. I got a ball. Should I throw it directly
I
at
have
the
a snake staff because I'm Lucius Malfoy.
And I'm Ricky Vaughn. You can see it on my back.
Yeah. See?
It says Vaughn.
Right there.
Yeah. Okay. Now that my aerobics for the day are done. 3D. What's that actor's name? What's his name?
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, I'm actually his career. That's why I sound like this, because I'm dead in a ghost.
Good one.
Yeah. But anyway, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Happy weenie.
Happy Weenie Day, everybody. So nice to have you here. We're just holding up our props the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're just listening to this, I'm holding a baseball, and if you don't know what a baseball looks like, well, you're kind of out of luck. But
Yeah. And I got a staff with a snake on the top of it.
that he bought for
that I
$5.
bought. It was like $5. It's plastic. It's real cheap. I could break it in half right now.
Honestly, it's a pretty good deal. $5.
But $5 for some spooky action.
Yeah, I wouldn't scoff at that at all. I love that.
And it works.
And it works. Today, we're going to be talking about, take it away,
Horror movies
from
the 2010s.
Exactly. 2010, so like recent, I mean not the recentest, but a lot of recent ones coming for us.
The most recent decade.
The most recent decade, complete decade.
Full
So
decade.
it's done. We can talk about it as if it's ancient history.
Well, it is.
It is at this point. 2000, I mean, it was before, the event, as we're going to be calling it.
The event.
The event. But before that, we're going to get into our weeks, what we've been up to. So what have you been up to?
Well, listen. Yesterday, something happened.
Okay.
A very popular television show made its return to Disney Plus.
It's
for
triumphant
its
return.
second season of cuteness and death.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mandalorian season 2.
It's back.
A show that is overrated,
Yeah.
but it's
I'd have to
still
agree.
good.
It is still good.
But it is definitely overrated.
Most definitely overrated. It's only one episode right now.
Yep. First episode.
First episode. They're doing it the same way as last time.
Except long. I don't know if all the
Yeah.
episodes will be like this, but
Maybe.
season
maybe
1 they
not.
were like half hours. This one was like an hour.
Right. Worth it?
Unjustified, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. But to get to the actual episode, we're back with Mando and Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
They're just kind of hanging out.
chilling.
We really have no well, we do have context. He's looking for the Mandalorians, but like I don't know how time is. Has it been like a day since the finale? Has it been
I don't know.
weeks? Who knows. But he goes back. He's like, "Hey, I'm trying to find a Mandalorian," and they're like, "Oh, Tatooine, go to Tatooine." So he goes to Tatooine.
I hate Tatooine, by the way.
I feel a lot of stuff happens on Tatooine. So
I'm getting just like annoyed with it.
yeah, that's fair.
I want to go somewhere new.
It's
Anyway.
literally a whole galaxy.
I know, and we just keep on going back to Tatooine, stupid desert planet with multiple suns.
I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars in general, right? It's just always the same things happening over and over again, which is interesting. I'll get back to that later. But he goes to Tatooine. What does he find? He finds, he finds Mandalorian armor, but it's not on a Mandalorian.
It's on just a dude.
Babu Freak. What's his name?
I don't know.
Cobb.
Yeah, I think that's
Vanth
right.
or
Cobb something.
Yeah, Cobb something. So Corn on the Cob is like, yeah, I got it from some Jawas, and don't kill me, please.
And it's Boba Fett's armor, right?
Yeah, it's as far as I can tell, it's Boba Fett's armor because it's
Right.
the green and it's got the
It
antenna.
looks
and
it
it's
looks
got the...
like it.
Yeah, I did have to look it up just to double check because I was like, is that what I think it is?
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much looks like it. So he wants the armor back. Obviously, it's their
Mando, yeah.
it's their culture, it's their tradition. He's like, no one can have that except for Mandalorians.
And
Hand
he's
it
like,
over.
"Fine." And he's like, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I got to protect the town. Anyway, their town is being messed up by some sandworms.
Ransacked.
It's actually a crate dragon that just goes through the sand and it eats people. It's Bad News Bears in Mos Pelga, I think it was called, the little outpost. So he agrees, you know what, I'll kill this dragon for you, with you, if you agree to give me the armor. And he goes, you know what, good deal, sounds good, sure. And they team up with the Sand People because he knows Tuscan, I guess.
Sure.
Was that established? Or is that
That
new?
he knew it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Because I remember him doing stuff with the Jawas.
I know he's good. I took it. I was just like, oh, yep.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I wasn't like, what? But what? How can... Never mind. I was going to get into Last Jedi stuff. Who cares? It's not worth the discussion.
And they kill it.
They kill it.
Yay.
Here's the thing about this episode. Well, overall opinion, before we get to the ending, how'd you feel?
It was meh.
It was very Western.
Oh, yeah. It was like screaming.
Yeah. If this would have been the first episode of the series, it also would have worked, which I'm wondering if that was on purpose. If they're like, oh, you don't want to go back and watch season 1, but you want to watch a new thing? Well, there you go. You kind of get it.
Yeah.
Because he establishes, like, oh, I'm trying to get a baby to his people. And you're like, okay, well, sure. So, I don't know. It did feel very... If this was the first episode, it would have made perfect sense. You would have been like, yep, this is the show.
But it's not.
But it's not. Which is, I guess, a little disappointing. But first episode, not going to try to be too... I mean, most of the time, the first episode and last episode are, like, try to be the best episodes in a show. So this one being pretty underwhelming is a little disappointing to me. Also, with the added length and still being kind of
Yeah. I mean, not much happens.
Well, and here's the thing.
It's just everything's like really dragged out.
It was for you, right?
I saw the... Never mind. Continue.
Well, I played a game called KOTOR, I think 2. This happened in. It might have been 1. It was in 1 or 2, actually. And a mission in that game is this episode. You go to this, outpost. The guy's like, hey, there's a crate dragon. Help me kill it. You go, okay, how are we going to kill it? We're going to bury a bunch of explosives in the ground. And you go, okay. And you do it and you kill the dragon. You get the crate pearl. And he's like, thanks. And like that. But like,
that's funny.
The mission is the show. So if you were watching it and kind of felt underwhelmed, imagine me knowing exactly how it was going to play out and for what exact reason the Sand People were helping them. Like, okay, this is a little weird. They didn't...
Nice.
I just thought... And season 1 had quite a few things that were, I don't want to say lifted, but, maybe take inspiration from like KOTOR specifically, which I liked. But now I'm like, okay, that's just straight up what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jeez. I didn't know that.
But it's still, KOTOR is great, so it's good that they're, taking from it. I hope that KOTOR could just get its own thing maybe one day.
That would be cool.
It won't have much material left after The Mandalorian, but it would still be cool because Revan is... Oh, Revan's so cool. And I know, before you say it, people out there, I know that in the... What is the last movie called? Rise of Skywalker. That one of the ships is named after Revan, but you can only know that if you read the encyclopedia or whatever about it. So I don't care about that. That doesn't count in my eyes. But Revan needs to be done justice, I think.
Sure.
He's very cool. If you knew, you'd be right here with me. You'd probably be even crazier about it, honestly. Anyway, the end of the episode, he fucks off, and there's a guy in the desert.
Mysterious man. Could it be?
Is it? Is it just him?
Maybe it's Boba Fett. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it is. It definitely looks like the actor, certainly, right? Just, old.
Old?
Oh, yeah. I don't understand what he's doing.
He's trying to get his armor back.
Right, but why did it take... What? I don't know. Again, it's the time, I guess. Like, how long... When exactly was it lost? And I guess I'm just interested in what he's been up to, I'll say.
Right, because he falls into the Sarlacc pit, and then somehow...
Before the canon change in the extended universe, that's, before Disney bought him, he had gotten out already and had a bunch of adventures.
Oh, okay.
So now...
I didn't know this.
Everything that's happening now, where they said, yeah, let's keep him escaping, if that's what's happening, which that's got to be what it is. They got a kind of remake of what exactly happened to him getting out and what has he been up to since, you know? But interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm just waiting for Ahsoka to show up.
Right. Rosario Dawson showing up with a big lightsaber and then a tinier lightsaber and doing cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about... You like Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
What if this was where we... Because she's dead by Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
What if this is where she dies? How would that make you feel overall?
I don't know. I think I'd be okay with it, I guess.
Well, I was thinking, like, what if Mandalorian... No, what if Baby Yoda, like, chokes her to death? And then the Mandalorian gives him a high five. And
That's
it's like,
fine.
yeah, kill that
Listen,
bitch.
I like Ahsoka.
Kill that stupid bitch, Ahsoka. I'm
but-
glad she's dead. And then he curb stomps her.
But Baby Yoda can do no wrong.
Okay. Yes.
So that's fine with me.
Okay.
If Baby
sure.
Yoda wants to force choke Ahsoka to death, go on.
Okay. Well, we know where we stand now. Do you have anything else to say about The Mandalorian?
I hope it gets better. Baby Yoda's super cute again.
Yeah, he is still very cute. I hope that it just made me want to watch Dune.
Literally,
Because the
bro.
Great Dragon would
When it
burrow
was-
under the
when it
sand
was
and
going,
everything.
I was just like,
That just made me want Dune more.
I know.
But what can you do? What can you Dune?
What can you do?
Yeah. What else?
Oh, right. I watched a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a long time.
Sweet.
But the only reason that I wanted to watch this movie, I had no idea what it was about.
Okay.
But I wanted to see it ever since I knew that it was even like a thing.
All right.
Because of the poster. Okay, this movie is called American Animals. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Okay. The poster, I don't know why I like it so much, but it's like just four dudes just like standing there. But then right at their heads, it's like ripped. And then on top of all their heads is like a head of an animal.
Oh, okay.
And I think it looks cool.
Is it a horror movie?
No,
Okay. This poster sounds scary.
it's not
All right.
scary. But anyway, I really, really like this movie.
Okay.
It's directed by Bart Layton. I've never seen any of his other work. And it has Evan Peters from Quicksilver fame
Oh, sweet.
in the newer X-Men movies.
Do you have a year?
It's 2018.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And Barry Keoghan, who is from Dunkirk fame. He's the guy that falls down the stairs and dies
Oh, gotcha.
in Dunkirk.
Stairman.
I'll be useful, sir.
Stairmaster.
That guy.
Yeah.
And it's like a documentary fiction thing. So what they have is they have the real life people so the movie's basically about a heist.
Okay.
That they like these kids, they plan this heist and they do this heist.
Yeah.
But they have the people that did it, all four of them. They have like a bunch of interviews with them, and they're like trying to recount the story that they're telling.
Sure,
of
like
what happened.
Big Little Lies season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like actually the real people.
Yeah.
Because it's based on a true story.
Okay.
But then we have like the actors like acting out dramatized versions of what the people are telling. So I thought that was really cool. And I just really loved like the execution of like the real people coming in and being like this. The one person's like, well, this happened and this happened. And the other person's like, well, I don't know if it happened like that. That might be how you remember it, but I remember it like this. And they'll show like all the different like ways that like people remember what happened.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. The best part was this is our favorite part of Moonlight. And this movie was just like, yeah, I love Moonlight too. And they did the door thing
Oh, yeah.
in this one.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. They were just having a conversation in a car. And the dude is like, I'm leaving. And he opens the door. And lo and behold, the camera was whoop.
Mounted on the door.
Yep. And then
followed
whoop. And I was screaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I very much enjoyed this movie. If you're into like true stories in general, this one has like a really interesting twist with having like the real life people tell the story alongside the acted out version of it. It was really cool. I liked it.
Okay. Is telling us what it's more about kind of spoilery territory or
I mean, it's a true story, so I guess no, you can just like read about what actually happens.
okay.
But they try to do this heist to steal these books.
Okay.
From like this library at their college. They have these like really, really old books that are like super worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
and there's only like one lady in there that like you have to like go in the special door, and there's one lady who like has to be in there at all times with you or whatever. They don't have any security or anything, so like, oh, this will be easy.
So they gotta turn off the oxygen. And they have 15 seconds.
Right. And he comes up with this incredible plan, and everyone's like, yo, let's do it. And then it comes like the day of, and they get up there, and then there's like 1 million people in there, and they're like, shit, and they start freaking out, and then they run away and they bail, and then they just try it again the next day, but with like a whole new plan, kind of a new plan. It's basically the same, but very different. And obviously they didn't have a lot of time. They literally do it the next day. So this whole plan goes absolutely terribly. And it's like just the worst series of unfortunate events ever.
Yeah.
You get to see them. I mean, everything just goes so wrong, and you're just like screaming at the television. You're like, why? Why would you do this?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is good. It's not well known, I don't think.
Yeah, probably not. A hidden gem, I suppose.
I very liked it. I also watched, for the first time, I watched the first Borat movie.
So did I. I did a double feature.
I watched the new one.
Exactly.
So we can just both talk about it. Then.
Right, yeah. I figured you had, just because, it's the thing right now.
Right. So, wait, you haven't seen the first one either?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I'd seen bits of the first one, but I haven't sat down and watched it until, like 2 days ago.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll just talk about the first one then.
And I think the first one's actually like leaving Amazon Prime in like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, it was something weird. I saw like a notification when I was watching it.
Huh.
Very strange.
I wonder why
the
they would
second
do
one
that.
just can't. Whatever.
Borat 1. Good? Not good. What do you think? You like?
I think Borat 1 is very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. My wife. That's the thing I remember. My wife.
Pamela.
And then Lunel is great. I think Borat 1 is very funny. I wasn't sure what to expect really because I'd heard so much about it. The main thing I knew about Borat was the green Speedo swimsuit thing. That was like my main takeaway from Borat, like back in the day when it came out, and I was like 9 or whatever. I was like, oh, that's the movie with the weird mankini thing.
Nice.
And I was like, that's all I knew about it. And it wasn't until many years later that I realized it was like an actual movie. And the mankini's in it for like a second.
Literally.
Why was it such a big thing? I swear, I don't know if you remember, but I swear it was huge. Was it not?
I don't know.
I swear it was like everywhere was like, get your mankini from the film Borat. And I was like, that's weird. That's a weird movie. I'm going to stay away from it. But the whole idea of this like ambassador from, Kazakhstan, coming to America and just learning about American culture for the make benefit
of
once glorious
nation, Kazakhstan,
right? And of course, it's a satirical movie. Kazakhstan's not actually like how it's depicted in the film, really.
Right.
So much to the ire of a lot of people who know that people don't understand that and think that everybody in Kazakhstan is just Borat, which is obviously untrue. I don't think there's anybody on Earth like Borat.
No,
just quite. Borat's a special guy.
He's very special.
Sacha Baron Cohen, that guy who plays him, weirdo, I guess. I don't know what you want to call him. Successful weirdo. Comedic actor. That's just the polite term for weirdo, really. He goes to America and he just learns stuff, and he ends up falling in love with Pamela Anderson because he sees her on Baywatches. And it's like a road trip movie.
Yep. He wants to go to
trying
LA
to get to
Pamela.
Yeah.
And
chaos
on
ensues.
The way, he just does crazy shit.
So if you really don't know, it's him acting as a character, interacting with real people who don't realize that he's an actor. He goes to like a feminist sit-down club as this character, and they all think he's actually this foreign guy. And obviously he has, diminutive ideas about what women should be in life, and they have the brains of squirrels or something like that. And, they don't take too kindly of that. And is this a mean-spirited movie?
No.
I don't think so, usually. I don't know. And that goes for both of them. I think, for the most part, they stay on the right side of, doing it. Again, obviously they have the power of editing on their side, so you don't know exactly what is a honest reaction.
Right, because some of the things are just like so crazy. It's like you can't. You're like, is this actually real or like
what's
are
happening?
some of the people in on it? It's just
the thing that gets me with both of them is that he will very often refer to killing either Jewish people or gypsies, as he calls them, and people just totally go along with it. Like he's buying a car and he's like, "How fast would I have to go to kill someone going this car?" The guy's like, I'll be honest, in this thing, probably like 30 miles per hour. Like, right? Like, who? What?
It's like,
who says that?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Or he gets a propane
really
tank.
weird.
It's like, how many can this kill if I got him in the back of a van? He's like, everybody in the van. Like, what?
I know for a fact that the end part with Pamela, when he kidnaps, when he attempts to kidnap,
yes.
I know that she is in on it, but nobody else
exactly
is. So like the people that are like chasing him down.
She's at a book signing,
yeah,
and so there's a crowd of fans. Obviously, there's like the mall security wherever she was, and he kidnaps her in front of them, and they're the only two basically who were in on it, the whole time. And he literally puts her in a sack,
and like starts dragging her away.
Right, yeah. And then she escapes, and he starts running after her. Pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
I mean, at that point, well, when I saw that, I was like, I didn't laugh at first. I paused the movie. I was like, is this funny? I Googled, was Pamela Anderson in on the Borat thing? It said yes. I was like, this is hilarious. As long as she's in on it, this is really funny. Well, because I was like, I could see him maybe doing that. It'd be a little out there because he'd probably get sued super hard.
Yeah.
But they do a pretty good job of avoiding lawsuits and stuff.
Well, I saw a thing he got like during the filming of the first one. He got the cops called on him like 97 times. It's like, okay,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you deal with that. I would love to be part of that crew and just see how they operate it all.
Yeah,
because I think the basis is that they just say they're doing a documentary on a foreign like ambassador or something like that, and they just let it roll. And Borat is like in and out. Like he doesn't stick around just in case something breaks or
yeah.
Borat 1, very good, I think.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Borat 1 is bad movie. Not.
Okay, yeah. Everybody who's seen Borat back in the day who listens to this is probably like, God, it's gonna start all over again of people quoting Borat all the time.
Sorry.
Actually, you know what was also a very funny part of this movie? Was him taking a shit in front of the Trump building, and it was like totally divorced
it's
from.
Just like it was like 20 years ago.
Wow! And of course, in the second movie, they referenced that right at the beginning, that happened. So he had to make some kind of reparations for his actions there. Second film,
Borat, subsequent movie film. It had
Amazon
a really
original.
longer title originally.
It did but it was never the true title. I don't think it appears in the movie. When they first launched the scheme, Mikhail Pence, Sexy Monkey, whatever.
It's good.
Should we start with overall opinions on this one?
Sure. I still liked it, but I didn't think it was as great as the first one, mainly because the second one is a lot more movie and less Borat doing crazy stuff.
There's way more actual movie in this one than, like guerrilla or whatever you want to call it, out in crowds doing stuff with actual people. There's a lot more scripted movie and stuff because he has a daughter now.
Yeah. Tumat.
Was that her name? Really?
Tutam. I'll figure it out.
Something like that. He's got a daughter. She's 15 or something like that. Right. And he's going back to America to give a sexy monkey to Michael Pence to make up for taking a poop in front of Trump's house.
Delivery of prodigious bribe to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. And it's Tutar. I was close.
Tutar. Yeah.
Tutar.
So he ships a monkey to America. His daughter climbs in the monkey box. And he marries Lunel at the end of the first one, by the way. Very important. He marries this black hooker.
Yep.
Yeah, Lunel, who is an actress. And she's nowhere to be seen in the second one.
I know.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying what happened. Anyway, basically the daughter eats the monkey that was for Michael Pence, And then
Well, hold up. He goes to America because the Kazakhs. He was imprisoned,
oh right, he was in prison,
and they send him to America to do something.
I forget, but he was in prison for a long time, and then he had a mission. It was like, you need to go to America to give Sexy Monkey to Michael Pence,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
His daughter climbs the box, eats the monkey on the trip because she needed to survive somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's stuck with his daughter in America.
Yeah.
You know, what is he going to do? And basically, he talks to the president or whatever, and he's like, well, give your daughter to somebody or something like that. It's like, okay, give your daughter to Michael Pence. I can do that, sure. It's like, hey, daughter, we need to make you hot, like an American woman, so that she gets a total makeover to make her hot. And there's a lot of scenes of her having very, very backwards thoughts of like wanting to be a princess in a cage, like Melania Trump or something like that. Like she's like, oh, will my wife cage be made of
Like
gold?
Melania.
Yeah, like Melania. Very weird back and forth they have. And there's a lot of it. Like we said, there's a lot of scenes of these two actors acting at each other as father and daughter, which is I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like a weird decision because it did seem like a lot to me. By the time the movie was over, I was like, really? That was
Because I can only think of two, or at least I can only remember like two, like of his like crazy stunts that he does that are like memorable.
Yeah. Would the one be the Donald Trump impersonation?
Oh, okay, three,
because that one's pretty memorable.
That one, when he goes over to the two dudes' house just for like a few days.
Yeah, just to
and
hang
then
out.
the end with Rudy Giuliani, which is
Right,
crazy.
which is the big thing.
Right.
So the other thing that happens is he leaves his daughter with this babysitter, basically, who was not an actress, which I was kind of like shocked almost when I realized that, because I was like, this has got to be an actress, right? But she totally wasn't. And she's kind of learning about how she has this 15-year-old girl she thinks that she's watching over, and she's telling her all about like, oh, my dad's making me get breast surgery to make my boobs bigger and marrying me off to a rich white man. And she's taking it with like a lot of like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe you shouldn't do that. And it's honestly very like,
Yeah.
looking back on it, that's probably the sweetest point of the movie is stuff with her, because she's like this real woman who thinks the situation is like totally legit, and she's just being like a really, really solid person in that. And I think she only got paid like $3,000 or something for it, and people were mad about that, and they started some sort of like Kickstarter or something like that to go to her. And I think it's raised. I think Sacha Baron Cohen ended up donating like $100,000, and they raised a lot more to go to her because she was left unemployed from all the COVID stuff. So she did this movie where she's like kind of a big part of.
Yeah, she's in it quite a bit.
Yeah, and then she got paid $3,000 for this movie that's made like probably millions, right? That's a very popular sequel to a very popular film. So I'm glad that things seem to be going the right way for her.
Good. Yeah, that's nice.
And then, yeah, it goes to the end. Rudy Giuliani having an interview with his daughter, Borat's daughter. And, okay, so why don't you tell me what happens?
Why do I have to say
Because
it?
I don't want to say it.
Okay.
I don't know how to word
watch
it.
the movie if you want to know what happens.
Well, no. Something happens where it looks like he may have started to do something unsavory. I think that, I don't know. Do you think he was doing what they said he was? Do you think he was touching himself?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think he was, but I don't think that makes the situation any better that he was drinking with this girl in a bedroom right after an interview. Like, I don't think that he was or wasn't touching. Well, obviously, if he was, it would matter. But that he wasn't touching himself makes it any better. Like, the rest of the situation still happens.
It's very unsettling.
Very creepy.
And it's just, I don't know. It's not even like, at that point, it like wasn't even funny anymore.
Right,
To
exactly.
me, I was just like, this is happening.
Yeah. And the other thing that I feel is kind of obfuscated in the film is I don't remember if we know how old he thinks she is, because we know that she's supposed to be 15, right?
Right.
Did he think she was 15, because that also adds another, because she could obviously pass for a lot older, and I don't know if that's how they set it up. It's like, oh, this is a high schooler. I don't remember if they did that or not.
I don't remember either.
But still pretty creepy either way. Pretty creepy.
But aside from that, one thing I read was when he goes with the two dudes and then he like goes to the anti-mask rally or whatever, when he's living with those two guys, I read that he lived with them for like 5 days and he never broke character.
That's awesome.
Like, what?
That's good for him.
Like, it's just amazing. I just think that's funny.
They were actually a pretty nice thing too, because he was telling them how he was going to be executed by tying 2 cows to him and just having them run. Right. And they were like super worried about him when they found his daughter. You know, they were like super like explaining what they're gonna do to him, and they were obviously like getting worked up. And I was like, sometimes stuff like that makes you feel like a little bit better. I think, you know, I don't know, even though it's such a bizarre thing. But however, what was not that great was before that happened. What happened at the rally when he started singing about murdering Democrats, and everybody was like, hell yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah.
And like there was like a Nazi salute in the crowd and everything, and
fun times
in America.
And then I thought it was kind of silly at the end when it's like we actually sent you to America to spread COVID-19,
right? As revenge for Borat 1, for all the stupid costumes and everything. That was silly because it was 100% movie. The Tom Hanks cameo was pretty good.
That was hilarious. The Tom Hanks thing was really funny.
Tom Hanks thing was good.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I was like, this isn't what Borat is, you know?
Yeah.
Either way.
But overall, I mean, it was still
lesser.
Yeah, not as good as the first one, but
still good.
It was still pretty good.
Yeah, still pretty good. Again, just be ready. If you go in expecting more movie, you might come off of it a lot better expecting that and knowing there's less shenanigans. Exactly. I thought when he asked the actual real live babysitter who was not an actress, will you be my new black wife? That got to me too. Because I was thinking about Lunel the whole time, and when he said that, it was kind of almost a callback. I was like, yeah, that's funny. Whatever. And he left her ball and chain at her house.
I know, just like
just laying there. I don't know. We're at 1 and 2. Very nice.
Very nice.
My wife.
I also watched brand new on Netflix TV show, Blood of Zeus.
Okay.
Animated television show.
Sounds bad.
I thought it was pretty good.
I just think the title sounds stupid.
Oh, well, it's basically about it's Greek mythology.
Really?
Can you believe it? And it's about this dude named Heron who finds out that he's one of the many, many sons of Zeus.
Yeah.
And Hera gets super pissed off and she wants to kill him. And Zeus is like, no, I'm a nice dad. And then there's like, they have a big battle. That's like big summary.
Okay. Of the whole show?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
That's like very, very broad. And it's only like 8 episodes, so it's real short.
Is it limited? Is it done?
Nope. There's going to be another season, I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
But I thought it was pretty cool. You could tell the budget maybe wasn't like super high like they do have for like Castlevania and stuff like that.
I need to finish Castlevania. Jesus.
Because you can tell like some parts of the animation might be a little lacking, but there is some... I mean, I'd say for the most part, the animation is fine. I saw a lot of people like really complaining about it, and I was just like, I don't really think it's that bad at all. But it's really cool. I'm super into like the mythology stuff.
Sure.
So for me, I was like super into it.
Yeah.
Seeing all like the gods and stuff, and they don't even say all their names, but like you can like see them in the background. Like I'm like, oh look, there's Bacchus just like walking around and stuff. But they only really focus on like Zeus, Hera, and Hermes. And then like Apollo's in it a little bit, and so is Poseidon.
Okay.
And Ares too. But I wish they would have went more, because they show at one point like a whole bunch. Like there's like 20 of them in like a room, but they don't like address like any of them. So I'm hoping maybe in like future seasons we can go more in depth with some of like the other gods and goddesses. But for the first season, I guess it's all right that we only had like a little bit.
You could make it a serial, and like each season, the start of it, like episode 1 of each season, be like, who did Zeus rape today, and what animal was he while he did it? You know, and you'd have like years of content,
Yeah.
as far as I've been told.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Some people are mad because like the way they depict like some of the gods like Zeus and stuff being like Zeus in the show is a pretty decent person.
Okay.
But in most of the mythology, he's like a big asshole.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't really bother me because, I mean, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, sure.
With their, they're not like following, in this show at least, they're not following like a preset mythology story. This is like their own thing that they're just kind of making with
the characters.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool overall. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's real short. I mean, you can watch it in like one sitting real easy.
That's cool.
It has a good soundtrack. I remember that. The soundtrack's really cool. But yeah, that's about it. It was pretty cool. And then I finally got to play a decent amount of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've talked about it.
Yeah, it has.
So I finally got to like the end of the second part. Well, almost the end.
Okay.
I'm like right close to there. And it was still pretty amazing. This game is pretty awesome. You get like captured and stuff, and there's a sad moment with one of the side characters that kind of got to me emotionally.
Okay.
And just the world building in the combat. The combat is maybe starting to get a little boring. I don't want to say boring because it's still fun, like slicing people up. But
yeah,
once you like at the beginning of the game, you have like all these upgrade paths to do to like get new abilities and new stuff. But I maxed all those out probably like 10 hours ago, gameplay wise, and now I'm just kind of like I have really nothing else to upgrade. So hopefully, I get like something new. I got like this poison thing, which was kind of cool, but I don't really know. But what was I saying? One thing that was really cool was I unlocked this like mode, like it's called like ghost mode or something like that, where if you get a certain amount of kills in a row, you can like activate ghost mode and you just become, it's like Spartan Rage kind of in God of War, where like everything goes black and white, and like slow-mo, and then you can just run and you can just murder people when you kill them, and like screen goes red and stuff. It was really cool. It's fun. But yeah, I'm still very much digging the game. The facial like animation and cutscenes and stuff, it's getting really good. I
don't know, but I assume it's actors, doing the camera with the dots on their faces, because basically everyone's doing that now.
Right, because between this game and like Last of Us 2, the things with faces, faces have come a long way.
I did watch The Last of Us 2 in like 720p, but it still looked really good.
Right. I got to see it a little bit better, but it just kind of makes me excited for the future of big games like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably have like a solid like 20 hours left. So
yeah.
It'll take me a while.
I think, this is like, I'm pretty sure it just gets snowy, and that's when you're supposed to know that you're nearing the end of the game, when it's really snowy everywhere.
It's snowy, yeah. No snow yet.
Okay. Just so you know. So you can warn us.
Okay.
Like, I'm in
Remember that.
Snowland.
I'm in the snow zone.
Snow zone.
Okay. And then one more thing. I just wanted to give an update on my Feast for Crows. Basically, what I want to say is Victarion Greyjoy is awesome, and I don't know why he's not in the show, because he's really cool.
Because it would have made the show too long, and they had to do Star Wars, which
I guess
they can't do.
But he's really cool, and he seems like really important.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, like, when they were reading, they were like, we can just cut him out. And I was just like, okay.
It made sense up until, last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I guess. And it's really cool that Dorne actually has like a story.
Yeah, you
rather
mentioned
than Jaime and Bronn like doing whatever. That is like
an episode
absolutely
or two.
not a thing. That is like very not a thing that happens at all. But yeah, so it's cool getting like these two basically brand new stories to me. Now I'm finally getting to like the point where they're starting to like break away, and I'm like actually just like reading new stuff now than being like, yeah, I know what happens.
Right.
So I'm really digging it. I'm flying through this book actually.
Very cool.
That was it for me.
Okay, and I didn't do anything else this week, so that's it for me as well.
Boom.
Just
Simple.
like that. We can move on.
Bam.
To our next segment, which is
The news.
Sad news.
Wait, you want to do the news?
I don't think we have to do that.
Okay, fine. Never mind.
Anyway, the booze. Not booze. Well, see, that doesn't work because that just makes you think booze.
Okay.
Anyway, sad news at the top of the news.
Yep.
Today came out.
This morning.
Sean Connery passed away. He was 90 years old. That sucks. I mean,
James Bond.
yeah. A lot of people's favorite James Bond.
Well, the original.
Yeah. Sad news. I mean, it's always sad when an actor passes, especially one with such. Even if you've never seen a Sean Connery movie, you know who Sean Connery
Exactly.
is. You know what I mean? He's
an
actor at one of those levels where everybody just knows about him.
You know who he is.
So he sadly passed away, and
90 years old.
2020 really going for it.
They're just going for it all. They're just like, you know what? We'll take everybody.
Moving on, more sad news. Jeff Bridges has been diagnosed with lymphoma, but he's given updates, and he says that, all the messages that he's receiving are really lifting his spirits. He's feeling really good, and he's going to keep us updated with how it's going. He's going to be very open about it, and here's hoping for the best for Jeff Bridges, because he's also a very good actor.
Very sad news. He's one of my favorite working actors, so best wishes.
Best wishes. Moving on. You know Amazon, right? You like Amazon, don't you?
What's Amazon?
Well, it all started in Africa. Amazon argues users don't actually own purchased Prime Video content.
What?
Well, here's the thing. They have their user agreement, right? That nobody reads.
Right.
And, by law, you are, it's not a defense. Basically, if you go to court and they say, oh, well, in the user agreement, nobody is expected to read and actually agree to those. So I don't even know why they exist. Because if you can just click I accept and it doesn't mean anything, it should just be an optional page somewhere. Or I don't know. Anyway, what viewers are paying for, you're not buying it. So my season 4 for Mr. Robot, I do not own that. I have a limited license. So it's not purchase, it's rent for an ambiguous amount of time.
So they could take it away whenever they wanted.
Well, not only they, if a publisher was to pull their, let's say you bought Borat, the first one, right? And then the publisher totally yanked the movie from all streaming platforms. They wiped it off everything. They could take it off Amazon and you wouldn't have any recompense. It would just be gone, even though you bought it and paid for it. Because Amazon doesn't really quite have control over everything like that. So that buy button is basically, what this is saying is false advertising.
Yeah, they should change it.
You're not really buying it. It should be. Should the button say that's short and gets across that it's. I guess you would just say buy limited license, like Amazon says.
Yeah. So
people just understand. Oh, it's kind of like the thing. If Amazon went out of business, yeah, you'd lose that. Obviously, that's not happening soon.
Right.
But it's the same idea. It's why I prefer, for stuff that I really, really like, to still buy physical editions of things.
Me too.
Because it's mine. I have it, and it can't go away. But if you buy something digitally, anything could happen. And it could be gone, and your money is also gone forever. So, it's shitty.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, they should. Yeah. I think they should definitely change that.
Just rent your stuff on it. Why would you? Do people?
Yeah, I don't buy anything anyway on Amazon. Yeah. I have Mr. Robot, but that's because you have to if you want to
watch it as it comes out. So, I don't know. I just honestly, if you really like something, don't buy it digitally anywhere. I still support physical releases entirely.
Yes. Oh, which reminds me, I received my Criterion version of Parasite.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago.
Did you buy during the sale?
Yes.
There was a flash sale. It was literally 1 day, I think.
Well, wait, no, I didn't. Sorry. I pre-ordered that forever ago.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a flash sale the other day, which was 50% off, which was, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I bought 5 movies.
Heck yeah.
I bought Barry Lyndon. Let me try to remember off the top of my head. Barry Lyndon.
Nice.
Mulholland Drive, which was...
Nice.
Yeah. Eyes Without a Face. Les Yeux Sans Visage, right?
Oui.
Yes. Frick. Kira Kurosawa's Dreams.
Nice.
And the only one in that list that I hadn't seen, which is All About My Mother from Pedro Almodovar, which I haven't seen. I haven't watched it yet, but I might probably do it tonight.
It's all about his mom.
It's all about his mom, which probably gonna like it. I don't like to take a gamble with stuff like that, but I like Almodovar. I'll probably like that one. But yeah, that's Criterion news. Criterion, you guys, you're ruining other Blu-rays for me.
Literally, if I like some movies, why don't they just make every movie have a Criterion release?
I bought the Grand Budapest Hotel for like $3 or something, Blu-ray. And then like the next week they're like Criterion release, and I was like, really?
It's like,
Damn
listen, if you're gonna make it a Criterion, just do it like real soon after, like they did with Portrait and Parasite.
Yeah.
Don't wait like 5 years to be like, oh, this movie's actually good.
Right.
Let's put it on the Criterion channel.
The thing with that is, my whole idea, like I just said, if I buy something physical, it's because I really like it. So wouldn't I just want the best version of that thing? Which Criterion, they go out of the way to add a lot of bonuses, extra interviews, after times past and everything like that, which you won't find always on just the regular Blu-ray that comes out super early soon, So the Criterion's always like my go-to because this is just more stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, it is a little bit more expensive usually, but you do what you can.
Yeah.
Netflix news. Bad Netflix news. Netflix plans more anime content.
What do you mean?
Damn it. Strikes deals with 4 producers in Japan. In Korea. I just like the dynamic of me hating anime and you liking it, even though it's totally not true. I just like the idea of it. So we're gonna go with that. That's gonna be what's the wrestling term? The kayfabe?
The bit.
I think it's kayfabe. Anyway. Netflix is doing a lot of stuff, actually, just trying to bump up production of everything. The producers are... Do you know these?
I know Mappa.
What is Mappa?
Mappa is, they're most
Japanese
famous for now.
studio?
Yep, they're most famous for they are doing the last season of
season.
Attack on Titan, which is very important to
Understood.
many, many, many people. But they've done other really great shows like Dororo.
They've also got NAZ or NAZ, Science Saru, and Korea's Studio Mir, which sounds familiar.
I think I've heard of Mir.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar. So yeah, they've got
cool.
a lot more anime stuff coming.
Cool.
So
bring it on.
Prepare yourselves.
Bring it on.
But more Netflix. Got a lot of Netflix news coming up.
This is bad news also.
A new Assassin's Creed series, live action, is coming to Netflix. And, here's the thing. Where are they going back to old Assassin's Creed? Because Assassin's Creed doesn't really do the future stuff anymore. So what would make it different from just period, like Viking show? So they must still be doing their Animus, it's in the future and you're going back, having a main character in future town, which even the video games thought, this is a bad idea, let's stop doing it. So why would the show still do it?
I don't know. That whole idea is like, I don't know.
There's really nothing we have story-wise other than it's probably going to be Templar v Assassin as the main conflict. But it could also be a straight video game thing where they literally take a character like Altair or Ezio. Ezio's like still, I think, the most popular character in the franchise. Ezio. And just like do one of the video game stories as a series. Probably gonna suck.
I mean,
probably gonna be bad.
The track record is not good.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. If you could pick one game for them to do... I don't know if you've played them. Have you? Or know about them?
Played Revelations. I think that's literally the only one I've ever played.
Why? Why would you start there?
I don't know. It's just the one I played.
Wouldn't you want to start with Assassin's Creed 2 so you'd be like, oh, I know who this character is?
I'm just letting you know what I've done.
Wow, okay. You don't even know about...
I don't even think I beat it
your
either.
Stupid bitch mom.
I don't. I'm not well versed on Assassin's Creed at all.
In Assassin's Creed 2, there was like quick time events, and one of the quick time events was like to kick your legs when you're a baby.
That's amazing.
Very
That's
strange.
innovation.
I wish... It just paused it, but I wish if you failed, you just died as a baby. And it was like desynchronized. You know what I mean?
That's great.
I don't understand what the person in the Animus feels, though, when you are a baby. So you're like a living, full-grown adult, and then you go in the Animus. Are you like an adult mind in a baby body?
Probably.
That's horrifying.
That's crazy.
I would.
But
kick
imagine how much
too.
power you'd have.
What do you mean?
Because you're a baby. Like 99% of the world doesn't want to hurt you. and like everyone just tries to take care of you, so you could just like totally just screw with people.
I don't think that's true for Italy in like the 1600s. I don't know if people care about babies that much.
Well, maybe a little less, maybe like 85.
If they did it, I would like to see Black Flag, the pirate one.
There's not enough pirate shows.
Because it's got a lot of cool characters like Adewale and stuff.
Whoever that is.
That's that guy.
Nice.
He's very cool. And they've got, I think that's a girl, but it's a boy. Because she's in disguise like Mulan, I think, if I remember correctly. That'd be cool. Black Flag is great. Pirates stuff is cool, and it's, even though it's not very assassiny, so people might get confused.
Yeah, I guess.
They're
probably not gonna do that.
It's probably gonna be Ezio or totally original.
We'll find out.
Let's go on to the more Netflix stuff. Guess what Netflix doing? It's cutting its 4K bitrate in half, but promises same quality 4K video, because that checks out. That makes sense. When you cut something in half, it stays the same, right?
Right.
Stupid. And the 4K is already shitty, in my opinion. When you compare, if you have never seen a 4K video off like a disc on your TV as a port of, it's noticeable, the difference. It's so much better when you actually have it 4K through streaming platforms. Just because it takes so much and they aren't willing to shell that out, it's just does not add up to what you need for the true 4K experience, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just, nitpicking, but I honestly can tell the difference, and I feel like most people should. But also, I think that most people should be able to see, what's it called? Frame interpolation, motion plus on TVs, and nobody can see that. So I guess I'm just crazy.
You are crazy.
Dude, no, don't say that. You of all people.
Well, I can see it too.
You can
Once
see
you pointed it out to me.
You were like, oh, yeah.
But most people are just like, what?
See, I hate that. That drives me insane. The thing with stuff like that is that, okay, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but I'll wrap it up quickly. Frame rate is something you can control as like a person making a show. So if you want it to look like how it does with AutoMotion Plus, you can just do it that way. If they wanted you to see it in that high of frames, they just make it that way. So AutoMotion Plus is stupid and doesn't make sense. Unless you're watching like a soap opera or sitcom, then it makes sense. But otherwise, stupid.
Es stupido.
What else is stupid? Cutting your 4K bitrate in half and then raising prices. Because Netflix is raising the price of its most popular plan to $14 today. Premium tier increasing to $18.
Whoa.
Basic plan is saying $9. I believe it was the most
popular
plan.
I didn't even know there was different plans.
Was $13, and it's a $1 increase to $14, and the premium was $16. It's a $2 increase to $18.
What's the difference?
I believe basic plan is like 720p, it's $9 a month. 720p, one screen at a time, and that's it, or something like that. I don't know what the premium one's with. Probably just more screens, like more watching simultaneously, I'd bet.
Seems like a waste.
It does seem like a bit of a waste. But this is because they're doing stuff like buying up all those Japanese products and stuff like that. They're trying to really do a content haul, getting as much stuff as they can, so they're just bumping up prices a little bit. And they're not worried about the chum. You know the chum?
The chum?
The chum is what the people who will quit are the chum. You don't worry about them. They're just the chum.
Gotcha.
Whatever business people can say to dehumanize, people with money, it's great. Like whales. Like whales are the people who spend the most money on like mobile games and stuff. Like do all the microtransactions. Those are whales.
Oh.
Because they can't be people. Or else you'll feel bad about fucking them. Over. And I am not talking on a walkie-talkie. Anyway.
Okay.
Price hike. Just be aware.
What the heck? Okay. Sure, I guess. Whatever.
Okay, Netflix. Pretty much bad news all around.
This has got to be maybe the worst news all week.
David Fincher confirms Mindhunter is probably done. It's probably just over. But according to Netflix, maybe it'll come back in 5 years. Okay.
I doubt it.
Sure. 5 years. Basically, the rundown is that it's too time-consuming.
Yeah. It's not popular enough.
Yeah, not popular enough, and just costs too much to make.
Sucks.
And that's what have you watched it?
I've seen the first few episodes of the first season.
Well, there we go.
But that I didn't stop watching because I didn't like it. I stopped
Right.
watching because I was busy with other things and I haven't got back to it yet. And
Well,
I don't know.
because you dawdled,
I know
Now
now
my
it's
Hunter's
gone.
dead.
If
It's-
I watched it, maybe I know.
they were like, if one more person would have finished the show, we could have had a third season.
I'm
but
sorry, David
damn.
Fincher. My bad.
I've seen some clips, some montages over some like songs, and I was like, okay, that looks pretty neat. And that's all I know about the show. But it does
Anyway,
look good.
it shows you how much like the taste of like normal people. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Like a show like this, like one of the greatest filmmakers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, making this incredible show that freaking nobody watches. They'd rather watch The Kissing Booth,
The Kissing Booth
which
2.
is just fucking ridiculous.
Kissing Booth 2 is much superior, better.
And it's
I've never
just
seen
stupid that a show like this by such an acclaimed director just gets canned.
Yeah.
I hate it.
What I'm wondering now is I'll have to read an article on it and have someone else tell me if it's worth watching now.
I know.
Am I going to get invested and be like, well, now it's over?
And it's also like, I mean, now will Netflix even take chances like this in the future?
True.
Or are they just going to release The Kissing Booth 2?
Well, they have, that's already a thing that's out.
The Kissing Booth 3.
There you go. Did you really not know that The Kissing Booth 2 was a thing?
I didn't know.
It's very good.
This is stupid.
Anyway.
I hate this.
The one thing that Netflix loves to do is cancel. They love canceling stuff after like one season if it's not good enough. They don't like giving shows chances. You get your one chance, and you're either a Stranger Things or you're a Mindhunter, I guess.
Well, see, Stranger Things was good, and then they ruined it.
But it kept going, even though the second season was bad, and it's still going.
It's because it's popular. It's like Stranger Things turned into The Kissing Booth.
Yes, here's the thing. I have a theory with stuff like this. I think, and this goes for like, my main comparison point is like stand-up comedians. I think if you're funny once as a stand-up comedian, if you have one really funny show, you will be funny for like a while. If your next show is garbage, people will still laugh because they're expecting to laugh. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I feel this like for stuff like Stranger Things or just media. If your first thing is super good, people will just believe that everything they watch after that is also good, even if it's not. Do you understand what I mean?
Wow.
People won't be able to be like, wait, this is garbage. They're like, no, good thing is good. So it's good. Yay. Good thing. Clap.
Wow.
You know
We
what I
are
mean?
just like dissecting the brains.
That's how I feel. I feel like people can, and it's kind of
you're
like
right.
this with Marvel stuff, even though Marvel stuff has a certain quality that it doesn't dip below. That, you watch a really good Marvel movie and then you just believe that every other one is just as good because it's the same people, it's the same exact thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, it is. So that's just my little theory.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
And this sucks.
I've fallen into it too. You've fallen into it, and I will still fight you on it.
On what?
On Big Little Lies Season 2.
I didn't say it was better than the first
Not
season.
better, but I think Big Little Lies Season 2 is actually like garbage.
Wow.
But
I think it's pretty good.
I think it's good acting, but I think everything else is
Maybe
like,
I have to watch it again.
Maybe you can watch it again when the Season 3 that Nicole Kidman said is in the works
Season 3?
comes out.
I
Season
mean,
3.
listen, I didn't ask for a season 2. Number one,
I
I
didn't.
didn't think season 2 was a good idea.
Season 2 made me lower my score of the show by 1.
That sucks.
It does suck. That's why I was like, just let it be.
'Cause-
I own Big Little Lies Season 1 because it was originally
It was a limited
series.
series.
It wasn't
What are they
supposed to have a
doing?
Season 2. But Season 2, I think, dragged it down. Season 3, I can't imagine it lifting it back up.
No,
You
there's no
know?
way.
I
I don't even. Whatever.
Go watch Big Little Lies Season 1. It's great. It's one of my
They're
favorite limited
ruining
series.
everything. Everything that's good, they're ruining it.
Everyone ruins everything all the time forever. You know what else is ruined? Fast and Furious, kind of. Not really. But it'll end after 2 more films. Justin Lin to direct both for
Wait.
Universal.
2 more after the 9th one, or including the 9th one? So will 10 be the last one? This is very important.
No, 11 will be the last one. It's F9 and then 10 and 11.
Why wouldn't they just go to 12 to get the whole keyboard?
What? Well, I don't know.
F12.
You'd have to ask them.
Come on. That sucks, but
Here's the thing.
I would take 20 more Fast movies.
Sure.
Bring them on.
I know that but are they still going to do other like spin-off movies? Probably.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For the record, this is the only like big, massive IP, brainless Watt movie going that I am with. I affiliate myself. I am part of the zombie crew that just sees. I'm a moth. And
oh, you mean like movie good, so movie good.
I'm a moth,
Okay.
and I see Fast and Furious light, and I go to, just like many other people.
The light is actually the sheen off of Vin Diesel's head.
But I actually think that Fast and Furious is awesome.
Hey, Charlize Theron is in one of them, two of them, so she's good.
Yeah.
It's a good show, good movie. Then,
like
the Old Guard, which is great. So but it is good though. That's the thing. I actually think Old Guard's pretty good.
Only 2 more Fast movies with the crew.
Well, 3 more.
Yeah, right.
3 more for you to watch, so it'll be good.
So excited.
Anyway, let's continue the train wreck. The Uncharted movie finally finishes filming after more than a decade in development.
That's how you know that's gonna be fantastic.
12 years and several directors have passed this along to each other.
That's how you know it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be how could it be bad, right?
I mean,
you have Tom Holland. There you go.
Bam.
That makes it good, right? Okay. I like Tom Holland, so any movie he's in is good.
He's pretty.
He is pretty, though. I mean, it's kind of unfair that people can just look like that.
Right. You're right.
Okay.
Next one.
No. We'll see. It's gonna suck. Whatever. Who cares? Tom Holland. Good job. More shitty news. Jared Leto has reportedly signed on to once again play the Joker in Zack Snyder's new Justice League film.
What?
He'll be an idea once again. He will damage his forehead once again.
Damaged.
Remember Damaged?
Yeah, it was good.
Damaged. I don't know.
Jared Leto's Joker is just, wow, a choice.
He's going to be back. We're going to see it. Maybe is he going to mix it up or is it going to be the same? Which is weirder? Mixing it up, like doing something better, or just really committing?
I don't know. Just go for it, I guess.
Okay, just go for it.
Really go for it.
Just make it worse.
Yeah, literally just make it worse. Yeah.
Get a new tattoo that says more above damaged or like even more damaged.
This reminds me, did you see there was a trailer released this week? I can't remember what the movie is called, but it was like produced by Michael Bay.
No.
I don't even know how to explain it, but I started watching the trailer. This looks like a horrible movie, but it might be like so bad that it's funny.
Right.
And like the first thing is like they're in lockdown and it's like a COVID movie.
Oh.
And they're like the first thing of like the news, it's like COVID-22 has mutated and is more dangerous now than ever. COVID-22.
Even though the 19, doesn't it stand for like the strand of like something that it attaches to or something?
I don't know. So I guess
it's not like there were 18 other COVIDs.
So I don't know. It's really funny.
We need to get Borat on the case and to fight COVID-22.
COVID-22. Wow, that was really bad. That was like not even close.
Not even close. I think we should move on to our good news this week.
There's good news?
There's good news. Quibi is shutting down.
Oh, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. It was only a matter of time.
The short form video service had the shortest run of all.
But it was just a bad idea. It was just a bad idea. I don't know who thought this was good.
Here's the thing. You take a society, right,
mm-hmm.
where the main way that they digest media on streaming platforms is binging. And then you're like, I have an idea. Let's make the stuff
the exact opposite of that.
The exact where you only watch it for like a second. What?
Who wants to do that?
Whose idea was this? Obviously, it was made for the idea of. I feel like it was a very urban idea. I might have mentioned this already, but it's your commute on the subway or something in a city, or you're walking through New York, and I'm just like, yes, everybody lives in New York or something like that. It's like that kind of idea. It's like, oh, that's when everybody will pull out their phones and watch their Quibbies, and that's just not at all how people consume media.
Yeah, Quibi, you won't be missed.
I saw a few clips, which I don't even know if they were real, but in my heart they are. It was called The Woman with the Golden Arm or something like that.
Sounds fantastic.
And this was like maybe 2 minutes max. Basically, it was a woman who got a golden arm and she was looking at it and she was like, oh. And then the next scene was her in the hospital. And they were like, ma'am, if you don't take off your golden arm, you're going to die because the gold is poisoning your blood. And then she goes, never. And then she's on her deathbed with her husband next to her. She's like, promise me one thing. Bury me with my golden arm. And he's just like, sure. And that was like the whole show.
Isn't that great? This is what we're missing with Quibi.
It sounds like it did kind of make me want to watch all of it because I was like, who watches this? And I think Chance the Rapper had like a punk show on it or something.
Oh, jeez.
On Quibi. What I hope is that all the Quibis end up somewhere. I would hate for them to literally disappear to never be seen ever again. Someone needs to rip them.
They'll be on YouTube.
Put them up on YouTube. Do what you want for them. Maybe make a Quibi movie. And it's every single Quibi, and it's the length of a 2-hour movie. Right?
Sure.
Do whatever you need. But Quibi,
jeez.
Rest in pieces because 15, or, they're short. So pieces.
Right.
One more piece of pretty good news. There's a new Godzilla thing happening with Netflix. Godzilla Singular Point. It's, as far as I know, unrelated to the other Godzilla stuff they had going on, which I watched like a second of it and I just tapped out immediately.
Okay.
But Godzilla Singular Point is going to be, I think, like a mix of 2D and 3D, like 3D for the monsters, 2D for people. So that's what it looked like in the trailer.
Interesting.
The only thing I care about in the trailer is that they're bringing back a character who is, I think, mostly obscure to most people. I don't know. I love him, but I think he's only appeared in like one movie.
Bryan Cranston.
And some spin-off things. No. Damn it. It's Jet Jaguar. He's a fighting robot man. He's a big robot. His name's Jet Jaguar, and he's super cool, and I love him. I think he was in, Godzilla versus like Megalon or something like that. And he was in that one. There's a little Asian boy who was like, Jet Jaguar, and he would grow big and he'd fight all the kaiju, and he was very good at it. He's back in like his first thing for like years, because that movie came out in like the 70s or something, crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like
Jet Jaguar. He's back. He's the original Pacific Rim.
Very nice.
Very nice. I hope Godzilla goes, my wife. And he's talking about, I don't know,
Mothra.
Anyway, that does it for the news. That wraps up the news for us this week.
That was fun.
Yeah, no, good time. So we can move on to our spotlight. We're talking about horror movies because it is Halloween. We gotta get a little spooky today.
This is Halloween.
2010's horror. 2010, 2019.
2010s.
Yeah, we've got 10 films here that, we've talked about. And why don't we just get started? We'll roll right into it.
Ooh, which one you want to start with?
However you got it.
Okay. Mandy. Ever heard of it?
What year? Who?
Mandy. From 2018.
Very recent.
Directed by Panos Cosmatos. Pretty cool.
Badass
last name.
Yeah.
Cosmatos.
I mean, the first part too. It's
yeah,
all good.
Panos.
It's a movie that I would expect. I looked exactly how I thought it would, seeing the director's name. Think about what that movie would look like. You're spot on. That's what this movie is about.
Yeah.
Mandy is Nick Cage.
And Andrea Riseborough. I don't know how to say her name correctly.
Me neither. Good try. And basically there's this cult. They want Mandy, and Nick Cage gets angry. Yeah, I feel like that's a decent.
Yeah, it's pretty
good.
good.
It's a revenge flick, right? So Nick Cage is just
Sweet
kind of
revenge.
Yeah. He's going all out, bloody, gory. The colors are, out of this world. It's a lot of reds and pinks and like blues and stuff like that, all mixing together all the time.
Very strong.
This is the type of movie, just off the bat, because I think the plot we basically covered. Like, honestly.
Literally.
This is the kind of movie that I would love to have just on, like, during, like, if I was having a Halloween party and if I was doing that instead of being here right now, I would like have this movie on just in the background. Just look over every once in a while and you'll see some pretty colors and you're like, yeah. And like some blood and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
It just puts you in the mood for a nice spooky Halloween party. Maybe turn the sound off just so you don't get a little distracted sometimes with the screaming and the cocaine snorting. But I really enjoyed this film.
It's very good.
I will say, though, that I did mostly enjoy it from the art aspect less than a movie aspect. Kind of like how I try to view movies, and you might get mad at me for comparing it to this one. Movies like Climax.
Why would I get mad at you?
Because I don't like Climax very much.
I don't like Climax either.
Exactly, but I like Mandy is the difference. But I see them in the same way, that these movies I think are more effective as like an art installation than as like a film. You know what I mean? I don't think either of them like say all that much necessarily.
No.
But visually, and just technically, they can be a treat very often, So I view it more in that way. However.
Yeah. Okay. However.
No, this is a good thing. There's one part of this movie that it's so good.
Yep.
Okay, wait.
I hope it's what I want.
No, you say what it is. I want to see what you think is
It's the fucking chainsaw battle.
Wrong.
No, dude.
Wrong. It is not the chainsaw battle. But go ahead. Explain the chainsaw battle, what you love about it.
Okay. So Nick Cage is murdering all these he's like trying to they're like
a bunch of biker demons.
They're like demon people.
They're hopped up on like some crazy LSD or something, they said.
Like really crazy.
Yeah, they literally turn into demons.
Yeah. And he's killing a whole bunch of them. Which, by the way, that like axe thing he
makes an axe out of like pure steel.
So cool.
Yeah.
And I want to get one. Not like a real one, but if there's like a replica one,
a $5 one.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
I would very much want that because it's really cool looking. Anyway, it's cool. So he's killing a bunch of them, and he gets to a point where there's this one guy, and Nick Cage gets a chainsaw, just like a normal chainsaw. He's like, about to chainsaw this guy. Yeah. And then the other guy, and he's having a big standoff with them, and the other guy leans over, and he grabs another chainsaw, and you see him start to pull it, and you're like, oh, chainsaw fight. But then he keeps on pulling it.
Bigger chainsaw.
And it's so, the chainsaw
it's like Sephiroth's sword.
So long.
Yeah.
And then they just have an epic freaking chainsaw battle.
Is that your favorite kill in the movie?
No, definitely not.
What's your favorite kill?
When he chops the one dude's head off, and he lights him on fire, then he chops his head off, and then he lights the cigarette on his burning head.
Oh, yeah.
And then he starts smoking. Yeah. That is the best.
I don't know why, but my favorite one was the brother Swan or something, where he stuck the end of, because he used the axe, stuck the end of the axe in his mouth, and just like pushed down.
And keeps on going.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. However, the best part of the film, hands down, best part of this movie is Cheddar Goblin. I love the Cheddar Goblin.
What?
The mac and cheese commercial that he watches right after the stuff with Mandy happens. That commercial was easily the best part of this film to me. I love Cheddar Goblin. I want to eat his cheddar.
Good. Yeah.
I love Cheddar Goblin. And Nick Cage's, where he said like Edder Goblin because he was like bleeding. He was so tired. He's bleeding out. He needs medical care. He just stops to watch a mac and cheese commercial.
Amazing.
I love Cheddar Goblin. I wish it was real.
Cheddar Goblin
2020.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. And well, that just sounds like I'm endorsing Trump.
Oh,
I say Cheddar Goblin. But no, I love Cheddar Goblin. He needs to be protected. He's basically Baby Yoda, but plus mac and cheese.
Except cuter.
Yeah, and mac and cheese.
Yeah.
What does Baby Yoda give you? Blue titty milk. What do you want? Blue titty milk or mac and cheese? I guess people might want the milk.
Maybe.
What else do you have to say about Mandy?
Nick
Cage's performance?
It's in the top 5.
Okay, yeah.
It's in the top 5.
I like how he can go from this like A-list star,
He does whatever he wants.
But I feel like as opposed to a lot of other stars you might hear about, he still gives it his all. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've seen a performance where I was like, wow, he's really phoning it in. if you know of a movie which he does that, I want to watch that. So please tell me. But I always feel like no, he's trying. In every movie that he's in, he's like he's doing it, right? And I appreciate that about him. I think it's very admirable.
You ripped my shirt.
Yeah, he said his favorite shirt was the 44 shirt, I think, but I think his tiger shirt was much cooler.
Well, it doesn't matter to him.
Doesn't matter
what you think.
Another sequence I really liked was very early on,
Okay.
which was the talk between Mandy and the cult leader, where he was looking straight in the camera, and it was a very long sequence. I don't know how long it was quite, but I think it was like both of their faces on each other.
Oh, that was cool.
That was very cool. That was a part I would put that on loop and put that at a Halloween party. I really liked
that was
the
really
look of
trippy
that.
and cool.
Very trippy. And then laughing at his stupid song was very cool too.
Yeah, his song. Tough
I know.
look for the cult leader, man.
Mandy, it's a rollicking good time.
It's
Bloody,
not for everybody,
Not for everybody.
but
If
it's cool.
I say just like a coked out gore fest and that sounds like a good time, you'll like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bam. Okay, that's one.
So next we have a Revenge from
2017, directed by Coralie Fargeau.
Fargeau.
She's French, right?
Yeah. She is French and she's a woman.
Right. I said she.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay.
I'm just pointing it out. Revenge is a revenge movie.
It's a revenge
If
movie.
you can imagine that. A woman, she's kind of like a mistress to this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Out
Out in the middle of nowhere on
Out
his
in the
like
middle of nowhere,
special
yeah.
rich house.
Yeah.
They're chilling.
They're chilling. She ends up getting assaulted by his buddy, and she rightly freaks out about it. And they leave her for dead. They push her off a cliff.
Push her off a cliff.
She
and
gets impaled.
on a tree.
Right? And then she gets revenge. She does her thing. She, just get revenge. And they know they went to get the body and she was gone, so they're hunting her too. They're just hunting each other. Tell me what you think.
I like this movie.
I like this movie too.
This movie is very bloody.
Yeah, this movie's very bloody, and it's the bloody where it makes you wince because it's bloody, but it's like realistic, I think. You could believe it at certain points.
I don't know.
Maybe that's just me.
I don't know if it's real. Well, see, I don't know.
I watched Mandy right before it. So going from Mandy to this film.
Right, and Mandy, it's like crazy.
It's crazy, like a paper cut will do a geyser of blood. So when you go to this movie, it is very bloody, but maybe that was part of it.
Yeah,
I found it a little more appealing.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. She, the only thing at first when she gets impaled on the tree, she like falls off like a 50-foot cliff.
Yeah.
And lands on a tree and it stabs her through the gut.
Mm.
And then she like
Pulls herself off of it.
no, kinda.
Yeah.
She like lights the tree on fire to make it break so she can fall down.
Yeah.
And then she like crawls away to safety and then she takes those drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
When she first like did that, I was like, okay, this is like kind of really reaching.
Yeah.
But I just took it.
Here's the
And
thing.
then I was like, okay,
Well,
I'll
that's
just go with
my
it.
thing with this movie. I prefer to look at this movie as she did die. And she came back as like this angel of death because the wings on the beer can that she ends up emblazoning
Right.
on herself. I see her as this kind of just force, this supernatural force of, revenge. Revenge, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how I like to view the movie just because it was a stretch for everything that she accomplished.
She falls like 50 feet onto a tree.
Onto a tree and it in her stomach.
Yeah, like in the worst part.
Yeah. So I liked, that's kind of the headset I went into this film with.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, she's just this like,
I
power.
could roll with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. I took it and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a movie. And then she just goes crazy.
Right. I like movies like these because you don't have to spend hours explaining the plot. It's just revenge.
Yeah, just let's see how she kills him this time.
Yeah, exactly. I really liked the kill in the water with the knife that she steals off the guy's hip because he's taunting her, and you always love seeing people get punked when they're taunting. If you're getting taunted, that's the best time to kill or attack or do anything to somebody because what are you doing, you stupid idiot? You don't know what's up.
But she gets him in the eyes.
Yeah. And
Both of them.
It's pretty gnarly. Pretty dang gnarly.
And by that time, she already took the drugs, right?
Yeah. So she's out there.
Crazy
She's ready to
drugs.
go. How is that your kill that you liked, or
No.
what'd you like?
There's only 3. So it's... I don't know which one I liked. I probably
The final
like...
confrontation was very nice, I thought.
Yeah, I liked the last one a lot, but the second one, when he's like digging in his foot, I was like squirming.
Yeah, he steps on
That
something.
is, like,
Yeah. Very gross. What do you think is the freakiest part of the movie? That part?
It's that part. The foot part is like... That is like...
See,
that was gnarly
by
business.
far, the freakiest part of this movie to me is when he goes to her bedroom and he says, "Why don't you like me?" And that whole scene just starts.
Oh, okay. I thought we meant just like...
No, I
in
meant the whole
terms of,
thing.
like,
No.
gore. Okay.
No, the whole thing.
That part is very...
That scene where you have this actor who honestly has a very kind-looking face. Like, he has a very, almost childish look about him. And he goes and he's like, "Why don't you like me? Why won't you sleep with me?" He's just like, "Oh, you're just too short." He's like, "I wasn't too short last night." Okay, maybe I'll rephrase this, you stupid fucking bitch.
Yeah.
He goes off the rails. It is, and leading up to the assault, absolutely terrifying part of the film. I was super impressed by that because I was like, dang, from the actor specifically, like he did a really good job of, taking this facade and tearing it down and revealing that he was like a monster, and I mean, it's his fault.
He gets it good.
I
don't think, though, he got as good as
he should have.
Could have been.
Oh.
Well, okay, so she, like, snipes him in the arm, and then he's, like, running away, and then he steps on the glass, and then there's the foot part, which is really bad. But then he gets in the car. Oh, when he's in the car, and he's, like, pressing on the brake to try to start it, and the blood is like out of his foot. That is just so over the top. But when she shoots him, when he's like driving at him, I was hoping that he would like go flying off the cliff or something, but that didn't happen. And I guess that just kind of disappointed me. I wish he like went flying off the cliff and went like.
No, I understand that. I totally get that.
But she needed the car, I guess, to get back.
She wasn't pulling a. What was it? What was it that did that ruined the car? Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Where I was like, "What? You need the car?" Whatever.
Yeah. And then the final part, the dude is naked for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like with full frontal male nudity.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Which is also in Mandy. More ways these movies are similar.
I know. Can you believe it? And that part is nasty too. There's like so much blood in that part. There's a lot. There's so much.
The floor is just like a skating rink.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't know. But I like that she was able to be armed, Like, I never felt like you see it sometimes in movies like this where you'll take this little girl who's, not to be demeaning, but, she's small in stature and then, like, overpower a big tough dude who's not stabbed at all. And they didn't do that in this movie. She was always armed. She had a gun or she did something to outsmart them, They never went for, like, a cheesy doing it because, she wants it more. You know what I mean? It felt more grounded like that, which was good.
Yeah, when, like...
It's also a Shudder original.
Is it really?
So is Mandy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shudder's killing it.
Yeah, I didn't even know because I don't have Shudder. But
right. Did you have to pay for these?
I just rented them for like $2.
Well, yeah, I mean, I pay for Shudder, so I'm paying for them too.
Exactly. So, but yeah, when he's like slamming her on the wall at the end and he's like saying whatever, that was cool. When like
women always have to fight.
Yeah. When like the blood is like going over her like eyelids, and it's like I thought that was cool. And then she like puts her whole hand in his side where he has this like big wound from the shot he took earlier, and then they like fall and he's like going for it, and then the shotgun's like right on his chest. I wish that was a little more, because earlier in the movie she has like these crazy dreams when she takes the drugs. Yeah. And there's a part where her head like explodes. And it's like really gross and nasty. I was hoping they would just go like absolutely crazy with that shot in his chest at the end, but they didn't. Maybe they ran out of blood or something.
They might have. They actually might have.
There's a lot. Yeah. But I was hoping she would just shoot and his whole body would just like like everywhere.
And then
And then it ends.
It ends.
She
Then
just
it's
kills
over.
him, and she's like, "Yeah."
But she makes it out. You know, is at least as
Right,
far as
the
we can
chopper
tell.
comes.
She makes it out of the situation, which is interesting. So she is a final girl, I suppose. Sort of.
She probably kills the helicopter dude and then like flies off in the helicopter.
Takes the helicopter. Just like, I know how to fly these now. That could work. That could work. Revenge. Good.
It is good. I think that's her like directorial debut too,
I think so. Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
pretty cool.
looking forward to whatever she does next. In 2012, a movie came out called Sinister. It's got Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Ethan Hawke.
Directed by Scott Derrickson.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I don't like it that much.
It's interesting.
I think it's a really cool concept. I spoke about this movie earlier because I had watched it not too long ago, and I talked about it on the show, how I felt about it. But we can go more in depth now because now you've seen it as well.
Yes.
The whole concept of Ethan Hawke having to watch these horrible tapes to get content for his book, you know, like ideas and stuff like that. Very good premise, I think. I thought it was a very solid, like, this is believable. I can see the tension that this would bring to a family for obvious reasons. I like this, you know. It was just more of the execution of the scares, I guess, that
This movie has the worst jump scares.
Here's
The
the thing.
worst.
Let me tell you that science, you know science? Yeah?
Yeah, I know science.
Well, recently Science did a study, and they did the scariest movies of all time. And guess what was number one?
Sinister.
Sinister. Isn't that bizarre to you?
What?
They said that Sinister had the highest heart rate throughout the film of like any film of like the 100 that they had or something like that. So like your heart rate average was higher than like any other film. And the highest one was like, it was like 131 BPM average for the highest scare is how high it got for people. And I just don't get it.
That's what?
I was kind of,
Who is scared by this movie?
I don't know. I was kind of bored for parts of it, actually. Like with our boy, the policeman who's trying to help him out, you know, was like in Tangerine and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't like his parts very much. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the guy, but I didn't like those parts of the film very much. I don't know. I don't get it.
Scariest movie ever? Like ever?
By Science. I of the pick that they had, I suppose. And they had like stuff like The Exorcist and Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that, you know. The Exorcist, I was surprised that wasn't number one because that can be pretty scary, but I guess there was a lot of talking. Maybe the way that they're doing it is biased because it's
Raw is scarier than
the highest
Sinister.
it's the highest average heartbeat, like I said. So the average heartbeat while watching this movie was like 85 beats per minute, right? When I was watching something like Exorcism, I guess it was like 76 beats per minute, you know, something like that. So I guess what you could say is this film is good at establishing things like tension, you know, which I think it is. You know, you can feel very tense as he's starting up the tape because you're like, oh, what's going to be on the tape? Your imagination's going wild. You're like, oh, it could be anything on this tape. And then you watch the tape and you're like, oh, okay. At least that's how it was for me. I expected them to be a lot more horrific than they were. I don't know.
The lawnmower one was
yeah.
kind of bad.
The thing that I really respect about this movie is the ending. Respect. Yeah. Is the ending. The ending of this movie, I was not expecting.
Wrong.
Okay.
Keep going.
I respect that it can make an ending that is just, you lose the end.
I hate that.
See, that's the thing. It is a subversion, and I think it still could have been done better. But like the lead up to it, definitely, because it kind of just happens, and you're like, oh, I guess the movie's over now.
Yeah,
you know
literally.
what I mean? But the idea of just having an ending where you lose, and it's not relegated to a last minute, oh, but Carrie's alive, or you know, something like that. Where it's like, oh no, actually the last like 10 minutes are watching them all die. You know, sort of. It's mostly just the dad, but I liked that they were able to take that approach. I wish they could have just done it better.
Like Hereditary. Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Does the sad ending.
Yeah.
Does
bad
the,
ending.
you know, not happy ending.
Yeah,
I think really good.
Right. Because it has a ton of lead up. The whole movie's the lead up to the ending, you know. And Yeah, it was just more
Yeah,
effective.
and Sinister, I mean, what they're like, he like gets freaked out, and like he's like, okay, we're moving.
It's because the daughter doesn't have much agency in
Yeah.
the film, whereas in Hereditary, like the mom obviously is the main character, you know, and the whole thing is based around the family. It's just like Sinister is Ethan Hawke, the movie, where Hereditary was the whole family minus the dad. The dad doesn't do much, but
I
you know,
guess
that's fine. That's like his thing is not being around. Where Sinister was so focused on Ethan Hawke, where to have him basically killed off by like a side character, it's just weird.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was so weird because like the dude calls it and he like tells the extreme obvious.
Yeah.
Like it's really predictable. He's like, he's like, oh, you moved. If you move, the house is moved and it's gonna come kill you.
If the viewer wasn't paying enough attention, this is where they catch up.
And then he's like, oh dang, okay.
Yeah.
And then he hangs up the phone and his daughter's like, hi daddy.
Right.
And she kills him and it ends.
Yeah. Just not well executed, but I respect the idea. And then the final jump scare. How did you feel?
It was so. I knew they were gonna do it. It's like pulling back on the movies, and I was like, okay, the movie's over. And then I was like, it kept on going, and I was like, it's gonna. I know they're gonna put that face in there.
He literally goes.
Yeah, it's like, ooh!
Like he ducks into frame. Like what?
The
It's
boogie.
So stupid.
It's so dumb.
It'd be better if, but even the way they did it from the side and like leaning over, even if it was from the bottom and he just stood up, it'd be better, I think.
I know. And then they have the classic like loud noise accompanying it. It was so stupid.
I never want to watch Sinister 2 because that one looks just awful.
Yeah.
Because it's like kid actors are the main characters in that one.
Oof.
Does not seem that great.
Maybe.
I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to avoid that. Hey, we're not talking about 2020 horror. Okay, you cannot talk about what was that? The Turning.
The Turning.
You cannot talk about The Turning right now.
Oh,
great.
Love The Turning. So good. Catch it on our best of the decade in 2030.
Exactly. Best of the decade horror.
Yeah.
Followed closely by The Lodge. Ugh, God, The Lodge. I don't like The Lodge.
Sinister. It's a movie.
It's a movie. Ethan Hawke's good.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke is a good actor.
And the premise is good.
Yes.
So it's kind of, in that way, it's kind of similar to another film we're going to talk about later, where the premise is really good.
There's one part I actually just thought that I liked. The whole sequence where he like wakes up in the night and he's like walking around the house and like the kids will just like come out and like be illuminated and then they like go back. I thought that was kind of a cool little creepy scene.
Yeah.
But that was probably the only one.
Like we said, the film was good at creeping you out, but scaring you, not so much.
Yeah, no, not good at scary.
Yeah. What's next?
It Follows.
Oh, that's the movie I just mentioned that we would talk about, where it's a great premise, but
From
maybe
2014.
Great.
Directed by David Robert Mitchell.
Yeah.
This movie, interesting premise.
The premise is that it follows.
It quite literally follows. There is like this entity. Don't learn where it comes from. You don't learn anything about it. All you know is that if you have sex with somebody
who's already cursed by it,
has it, they give it to you.
It's a death curse STD.
Literally. And this thing will just follow you. It can take the form of like anything. It could be somebody you know. Well, not anything, a person.
Yeah.
Somebody you know, or just like some random person you've never seen, and it will literally just
walk towards you
all the time. It will never stop, and if it gets to you, it will just kill you.
Yes. And this is where I already have weird things with the movie. Only the person who's cursed by it, or if you've been cursed by it before, can see it. It's invisible to everybody else, but it still exists physically. Like it would still make footprints and stuff like that.
Right.
And if somebody dies, if let's say I got cursed by someone and I died, they would go after the person who cursed me, and it would go all the way down to the line to wherever it started, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not upset that that's never gone into, like the whole entity itself. That's fine. I don't need answers to all those things. That doesn't bother me. But there are just some things that I feel like were maybe a little inconsistent that I would have liked to see a little bit more consistency with. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Just they don't really go into. They mostly just run away from it. And they always come up with like these ideas to like try to fight it, but they never like actually fight it. Except for the end,
yeah.
where their plan is just really dumb.
I was with this movie until about like the beach scene. Where,
the beach scene has my least favorite part.
Yeah. The thing that bothers me about this film is that it still has to like kill you physically. Like it still has to like punch you to death or something.
Yeah, do whatever it does.
It has like super strength, but it still has to like kill you. But there's a part on the beach where like it grabs the person who's cursed by the hair, and instead of just like snapping her neck immediately, like it still like toys with that stuff. Bothers me.
Yeah,
it's like if it's a curse, shouldn't it just like kill her instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna pick you up first? Like what? You have super strength, just punch her head off. If it can punch through a door, it could punch someone's head off.
And bend that one chick's leg like literally backwards,
breaking it like totally. I don't know about that.
Yeah. The worst part is they're running away from it at the beach, and the main chick, who's really annoying, is like running away, and she's just leaving everybody.
Yeah, she abandons all of them.
Everybody. There's like 6 people there, and she gets in the car. Okay.
Gets about let's actually try to guess 300 feet maybe away,
and she just leaves.
But she gets 300 feet away, and then she crashes the car like immediately.
Yeah,
like she's like 300 feet from where she was. Like,
but the thing that makes me mad is the thing just walks.
Yeah,
and they try to kill it in that scene. They try to shoot it.
They shoot it in the neck, and it falls down for like a second and gets back up.
So like, run it over.
At
least try,
because you know that it's not death on touch. It's death on murder you.
Yeah. I mean, because she gets in the car and I'm like, oh yeah, run it over, and then she starts backing up. I'm like, where are you going? Yeah. Run it over.
Right. It just doesn't make sense sometimes. I just feel like I could think of a lot of things to do to it that the movie never even tries. Their great plan at the end is to go to this huge pool, like it's a YMCA pool, and they're like, let's get like 12 toasters, and if we throw them all in the pool, it'll like electrocute it, but you have to be in the pool and climb out before it get stupid plan.
Very dumb.
I'm not mad about the plan being super stupid, because whatever, they're thinking on the fly, they're being followed all the time, so they're basically doing it while watching the thing follow them. So it's like, okay, they're just not really thinking it through, they don't really know how it works, so they're dumb. But the thing gets to the pool and it just starts picking up the toasters. I'm calling them all toasters. They're whatever. It just starts chucking them at her in the middle. Like, absolutely just throwing at them, which is so weird to do. It gave the entity more of a consciousness than I thought it had originally. I mean, I know at the beginning they're like, oh, it's slow, but it's not dumb. Like, they say something like that. So I guess we just never really figured out how smart exactly it was. Maybe that's something that I would have liked. Because there's other points in the film where we see it not following her, and it just stands there, like on the roof of her house. It just stands there with its dick out on the roof of the house. It's just like watching her, you know, but it's not actually coming for her. And there's also another point of the film where someone else gets cursed, and multiple days pass by, and they don't see it, even though they're in the same town, which you could either assume that he was giving the curse to other people and they were dying, or it was just like biding its time. There's no real definitive answers for that. And this movie's kind of going for that. I get that this movie wants to be very, very ambiguous about basically everything in it. But, because there's stuff like, let me ask you a question. What year does this take place?
That is the $1 million question.
Right, exactly. It was designed that way, They watch only black and white movies. I think they were watching The Giant Claw at one point.
Nice.
The Giant Claw. And so they're all on CRT TVs, the old tube TVs, and they're like the old style ones. They're not even newer CRT TVs. And then the one girl has like a flip phone clamshell.
That is like the most
flashlight
thing. It's like, what is that?
It's like,
what is that?
Yeah, it's a very strange device. I don't know why they put it in the film.
I don't know.
Why didn't they just make it a smartphone? I don't know. It's so strange. It's probably got something to do with some weird mythology that I don't know about clamshells.
Yeah.
But very strange device. And then
Really weird.
a lot of old cars,
Mm-hmm.
and then some new cars.
I don't know.
Again, and it almost makes me wish they took it further, because if you weren't paying attention, except for the stupid clamshell phone, I don't like it, by the way. I think it's
Yes.
dumb,
Yeah, okay.
because it took me out of the film. I was like, what the hell?
Mm.
I feel like if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't notice at all. Be like, oh yeah, it takes place present day. You wouldn't even think about it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were going for, but it makes me think of I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which did a very similar, had a very similar vibe going on. But it was extremely unsettling because so much was changing and so much was out of place that you really felt its impact. I don't know. What do you think about the effectiveness of this technique that they used?
I most of the time it just took me out of it. Like if the girl with the clam phone ever came on, I was just like, what?
Yeah,
What is
and
that?
she was always on it reading The Idiot from Fyodor Dostoevsky, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I hear it's good. But her also just reading straight quotes from that book, I was like, this is stupid. It's like, you're the idiot.
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't like her very... She didn't do anything. All she does, she reads off her clamshell phone and she gets shot, which is also stupid because he can't... Okay, the end of the pool, Paul has got a gun and he can't see it, so it's invisible. So he's pointing the gun. If it's invisible, he can obviously see that he's pointing it at Yara.
Yeah.
And he still shoots. I'm like, there's nothing blocking his view. He just pointed it at her. And it was like, oh, I hope it hits her, because if it doesn't, it's shooting my friend, and he ends up shooting his friend. She's fine though, and it doesn't really.
Yeah, it gets her in the leg.
It doesn't even affect anything.
It's just funny.
She falls over. Obviously, she's not in danger other than the bullet wound, because the monster won't go after her.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing that gets me, like, he shoots the thing in the head. It starts bleeding in the pool. There's a ton of blood. It's a cool shot. They go home. And like immediately have sex. Right? Paul and Jay?
Yes.
I don't know if it's immediately, but very soon after they have sex. If they were going to have sex anyway, why didn't they do it before so that he could see the entity and just shoot it?
Because they didn't want to. She didn't want to.
But they don't know if the thing's dead and they have sex anyway. Why, instead of having be like, point to where it is so I know to shoot it, just fuck him for like a second. Also, we don't know the rules about the sex. Does he have to come for the entity? Is the entity like, I smell cummies?
Oh, God.
You know, and like comes after him? Or is it just like insertion?
I don't know.
These are the questions that have to be answered. We need to know.
I guess, yeah.
Also, I didn't maybe I missed something, so maybe you can help me out.
Okay.
I didn't quite understand the significance of the father being the last form the entity took of her dead dad.
I didn't even know that.
Okay.
I literally didn't even know that.
Well, good. I still kind of like the movie.
It's really good at building like atmosphere.
Yeah, the idea, again, like I said, the premise of just this unstoppable, maybe, force coming, it's death. What the entity is, it's death. You know, will follow you slowly, and you can kind of maybe stave it off for a while, but eventually it's going to catch you and you're going to die. You know, that's how I read it, is that this thing is death, and it comes from sex, which I'm not sure what they're trying to say with that.
I don't know.
Because this is definitely not, this feels more like a sex, not positive film, but not sex negative. I don't think the movie's saying, oh, sex is bad. It's
Definitely not.
But I'm not sure what it's trying to say with the sex.
Don't know.
Other than just like Scarlet Letter type stuff, like how people view people with STDs or something like. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What was I saying? I was getting somewhere.
We were talking about atmosphere.
Atmosphere, yeah. It's just good at the dread part of it. You know?
For sure.
Sleeping, how could you sleep knowing that something that didn't sleep was coming for you?
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is tough.
And you can ask yourself that right now. How can you sleep knowing that you will be dead soon? Because it's true. Like, what can I say? Sometimes you can't sleep. Sometimes you do just think about it and you just go, oh, right. Okay. Happy Halloween.
Yeah. And it has like a couple of good scares, I think. Like the
Yeah.
worst one is when she's like hiding in the room because it's in the house,
Right.
and they're all in the room together except for the one person, and it's like there's
Yara
a knocking
Greyjoy.
at the door,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, it's me," and they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll let you in or whatever." And they open the door, and she comes in, and like it's like the big, really tall dude.
It's a super tall actor guy. He's like 7 feet
and he's
at
like,
least.
He looks really like he's just an
Yeah.
unsettling looking person. He walks in, and he's like, and he like ducks in, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, he's very creepy, very, very creepy. And they only use him like twice.
Yeah, and
kinda
he's just
sad.
like real there real quick, and then he's gone. So
And also-
it's mostly naked people.
Also, that kind of doesn't make sense. Why is it to scare her?
It scared me.
I know, but that's kind of the thing. It's like, why did the entity take this huge guy's body where it has to duck to get in the door?
Right.
To
What
scare
if it
her?
was like Marilyn? What
Well,
if Marilyn was the entity? What do you do?
I'd look at her and I'd say, Marilyn, be gone with your titties. Okay.
I don't know.
We have to talk about the ending though. What do you think? Did they kill it? Did they not? Obviously, with my interpretation of death, I don't think they did. I think it was the guy who was behind them in the last shot, which was very obviously supposed to be like a
Right,
who
like a
knows?
ooh.
You know.
Yeah, it's probably not dead.
Here's the thing: they're both wearing white in that shot. And
Okay.
then- well, the entity always wore white, and the guy behind them was wearing white.
I thought he was wearing red.
Well, it was red and white underneath.
Okay.
I think it was actually like black and red with white underneath, but there was white on it because all the entity things were wearing white somehow or naked.
Okay.
And red was also prevalent whenever it would show up. There would be like red, I noticed, or like pink or something like that. Them wearing white, does that allude to them dying or something? Maybe, just because white, ghost, stuff like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't tell. I think they're gonna die, especially because the street that they're walking to also says dead end.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah,
Oh.
on it. So I was like, yeah, they're probably just dead. I don't think this
Dang.
is going well for them. Apparently, they have talked about, possibly doing a sequel. He said he wanted to call it Follow It.
That's stupid.
But I think it was supposed to be about tracing the curse back to see where it came from or something.
So what? Everyone's just gonna let it kill them?
They
They get everyone together that's ever had this thing follow them, and they're like, "Okay, we're all just gonna die," and they're like, "Yeah, okay."
It is. Well, no, it would have to be a third party who's like, what if it's like somebody's daughter gets it and dies and the dad knew about it and he's like, who did this to my baby girl? And he goes and he tracks down it. Who did you fuck? All right.
Oh, and he kills
and he
all of them.
kills them.
Oh, that could be kinda
so like
interesting.
he's like become the entity and he's
So
killing
now
these
there's
people.
two things.
So now people are like, do you see that guy? Yeah. Oh, I'm safe. Bam! You know what I mean? And then the entity's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? I'm selling it to myself right
Hey,
now.
I like that.
That's not
I like
bad.
that,
That's
low-key.
not bad. I think we've given enough time to It Follows.
Quite a lot.
We can move on now.
Also in 2014, we have The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Apparently this movie had multiple names at some point, like in different regions or something. Like one, it was just called Deborah Logan.
Oh,
And one, it was like The Possession of Deborah Logan or something like that.
interesting.
I'm interested to think of what you think of this film. I watched this like in 2015. I did not rewatch it.
Oh, you haven't rewatched it?
I did not. But
Okay.
I remember my feelings about it.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
It's a found footage
Mm-hmm.
movie where like a documentary crew is doing a piece on this lady, Deborah, who has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And then she gets like real demon on them.
Real quick.
And that's basically the premise.
It is, in my memory at least, like my favorite found footage film maybe. With Blair Witch right up there too.
And Wreck.
And Wreck. I prefer this over Wreck, no offense.
That's fine.
And also one of my favorite like possession movies.
It's pretty cool.
The main thing that will stick with you after watching this film is the visual of an old granny getting some head.
That I mean, it's literally stuck in my brain. I
right.
saw it and I like freaked
Exactly.
out. I was like, "This is terrifying."
I'm pretty sure that was literally the first thing the director thought of. Like, was that image, and he was like, "This needs to be a movie," because it is such a haunting.
It's terrifying.
It's one of the scariest things I've like seen in a movie. You know, it's very, very effective, especially because you get to know this woman first, and she's normal.
Mm.
You know, the actress did a great job. She is very old. I believe she had like she's not like a new like she was an actress as she was younger. You know, and this was a totally new genre for her. You know, and everything, and she really pulled it off.
Yeah, she does
supremely.
Great performance.
What else?
I will say my favorite part about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part about this film is that, I mean, this never happens in horror movies, and this is great.
Yeah, I know you're talking about
my greatest thing. About halfway through the movie, one of the people on the documentary crew literally just says, "Fuck this, I am leaving," and he just leaves.
And he's good.
And he's fine.
He's totally fine.
When does that ever happen?
Tried to do it in Midsummer. Didn't end up well.
Right.
You know?
Tough luck for them.
He leaves.
But
and
he
he's
just
totally
leaves
cool.
and he's fine. He's like, "I'm leaving. Do you guys want to come with me?"
Please leave. You know, let's go. And
they're like, "No." And he's like,
no,
"Okay,
no."
I'm leaving. Goodbye."
It's so...
And he leaves. And I was like, you know what? That guy is great.
Those are literally the two things that are stuck in my brain from that movie because they were both so good. You know, it really got to me where I was like, damn it, you guys did it. You know, I highly recommend this to just about anybody who likes found footage or possession movies. You know, I mean, again, if you don't like found footage films because the shaking, like that's here, you know, you're going to get the shaky cam. You're going to get the, what's going on? I'm a little disoriented. That it's more of a genre thing at this point where you just have to expect it, you know, but if you can tolerate it, or, you know, if you even enjoy that part of the genre, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
You know, very good film. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Yeah. It, yeah. Wow. What do you think of the end with the girl? Is she possessed? Is the little girl possessed?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they saved the little girl,
Yeah.
and then that had like leukemia or whatever.
Right.
And
It's
then
like
she's like
Resident
cured,
Evil.
and they have their party, and they're like, she's like, "I like this and this and this," and then she just stares at the camera and she's like,
Yeah,
she
she's very
just smiles.
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe it's a bit, you know, passe, but it's effective still. You know,
She's definitely a demon.
she's probably a demon. Most likely.
She's definitely a demon.
99%. But I say that about most children. I'm like, they're possessed.
Right.
Nobody likes chocolate that much.
Yeah. Really creepy movie. Lots of good scares in this one.
Yeah. Well-paced scares too. You know, I think so. Just the whole build-up from the beginning. Doesn't take too long to get freaky.
Yeah.
Because a lot of movies have that problem.
Yeah, even like before the demon scenes, just because like you know that like you're watching a creepy movie anyway. The scenes where like in the middle of the night where
it's like Alzheimer's.
just her her problems with Alzheimer's, where she'll just like wake up and she'll just like walk and she'll just like stand in a corner.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh.
So you're kind of
you
asking
okay?
yourself, like, is this Alzheimer's and a demon?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
just really creepy.
Which
stuff
part
like
of this
that.
is Alzheimer's? Which part of this is I'm about to die?
Yeah.
And you don't know?
Yeah. The Taking of Deborah Logan. I liked it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Next up, very recent. This is the most recent movie we have on the list.
Cool.
The Lighthouse.
Yes, dude. The Lighthouse. Yes.
Directed by Robert Eggers.
My man Eggy.
The Eggmeister.
I bet he would hate that. I don't know. Robert Eggers, he seems like a cool guy in what I've read about him. What is the plot? Two men.
Two lighthouse workers.
Wikis. Right?
Sure. They work at a lighthouse on this island in the middle of the ocean, and they go crazy.
Yep, that's it. That's the movie. It's them two, and then there's like 2-3 other people in a boat at the beginning, and they leave immediately.
They don't say anything either.
Yeah, they don't say anything. I think they're actually crew members that they
Probably.
just got in the boat. And
Yep.
they're just like, hey, just go in the boat for a second. We need this shot.
Most certainly.
And then there's
The mermaid.
the mermaid. Yeah,
That's the only other like significant. It's not even significant. I mean, it is significant, but she don't speak.
Right.
And
yeah.
it's just like her
She's very
face
significant.
for like a little bit.
Yeah.
And her boobs.
Yes, her titties and her vagina.
Mermaid. Mermaid vagina.
Shark vagina. I heard they studied shark vaginas to get the mermaid vagina right, because they're like, how does a vagina on a thing work if it's legs?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah, I saw that. It's like the IMDb trivia, and I was like, that's interesting.
That's funny.
So it's black and white. I forget the exact aspect ratio, but it's a square.
Basically,
You know?
it's a square.
And it's all in this lighthouse that they constructed for the film. You know?
It's really cool.
The Robert Pattinson looks really good with the mustache.
Yes.
I think he pulls it off. These two actors who, as far as I know, have kind of different acting styles almost.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Pattinson is very kind of spontaneous. He likes to just kind of act on the spot. Like, he doesn't like rehearsals as much. He likes his first take to be like with that accent, devil all the time. He didn't want to show anybody the accent. He just brought it to the set. Whatever you think about it, okay.
Sure.
Right. And that's the kind of actor he is. And working with Willem Dafoe, who's obviously been acting for a very long time, probably likes a little bit more structure, right?
Sure.
But they kill it together. They have fantastic chemistry.
It's very good.
Yeah, Winslow.
Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow.
Right, exactly. That is a very good, what would you call that? A soliloquy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hark.
Or a diatribe, maybe? Oh, it's probably a diatribe.
All right, have it your way. I like your cooking.
I like it cooking. It perfectly blends. I mean, it's a madhouse. It's like, I would say the horror elements are very Lovecraftian. You know, it's about madness, going insane, tentacles. You know, it's all about madness, and it blends up until the end, obviously, where it goes off the rails because it's the end. Mm-hmm. It blends humor and
it is
the
pretty
dread.
funny at the beginning.
It's pretty dang funny at certain points, you know. And I mean, it's like there's like really lowbrow humor, like there's jokes.
Yeah, there's literally fart jokes in this movie.
Yeah, like, you know, and but it works. It honestly does, because it can give you kind of this false sense of security almost.
I think before there's even like a speaking line in the movie, the first thing that happens is Willem Dafoe just farting.
Farts? Yeah, it might be before he speaks at the very least.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's stuff like that, and it's not insane. It's not gonna ruin the. It's not like it happens all the time. Like, you know what I mean? It's not ruining it. But the whole thing is that Willem Dafoe is obsessed with the actual light, and Robert Pattinson eventually is just like, "What's up with that light?
What up with the light?"
And that's like the conflict of the film, is the actual light. And what does the light mean? Well, it's kind of up to you to decide. We never know what they see in the light, but their faces say a lot about what they think it is, you know. I think when I first came out of the film, I thought the light was a very literal kind of like forgiveness, like a goodness of like your sins being cleansed or something like that, you know. That's what I took from it. Did you have any particular thoughts with it?
This movie baffles me.
Right, yeah.
So I'm there for the ride.
It draws a lot from mythology as well, though, because they have the things of like sailors' souls being put into animals, like the birds all around them, the gulls. You know, you can't kill a seabird.
It is bad luck to kill a gull.
Right, exactly, because they got the souls of the dead sailors in them, which is kind of backed up by some stuff that happens. And man, he turns into a dog.
What?
Remember at the end?
What?
Remember he turns into a dog? Willem Dafoe? He's like, "Arf, arf."
Oh, yeah. He doesn't turn into a dog.
But he does. He doesn't night bitch it like Amy Adams would. But more than anything, just beautiful, I think.
Oh, the
honestly.
Imagery is... Yeah. I mean, everything is like very delicately crafted.
Every frame you could just put up in your house and you'd be like, wow, you have a great collection here. Thank you. I know.
And like the dialogue, when we first saw this movie, I've seen it twice now. Have you seen it twice?
I've seen it once.
We saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
With, there's no subtitles.
Oh, yes.
It can be very difficult to understand the language they're using, because the language in general is like really weird.
Right.
And
it's not as tough as Tenet.
Have really thick accents.
Yeah.
Right. But I rewatched it with subtitles, and is very nice with subtitles.
Good. I'm glad.
Being able to actually know what they're
Exactly
saying.
what they're saying at all
Exactly
times.
what they're saying.
Yeah.
Then being sometimes being like, what?
Yeah. What is a wiki?
What is a hoi?
Yeah. I don't know.
Rob, this movie got robbed at the Academy Awards.
Yeah. I feel like it got robbed by like the general pop too.
Yeah, this movie is just not very popular, and they be tripping about it.
I mean, I guess it's fair. It is pretty challenging, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, even people who just like love acting, I mean, this is like a showcase.
If half of this movie would be great as like a play. When stuff gets totally off the rails, that would be hard.
Might be hard, yeah.
Do whatever. But just because it's a bottle movie. It's the one island. It's the lighthouse. You know, it's all one set basically.
Yeah.
And it's just these two people back talking to each other. You don't really know if they're telling the truth or lying. Obviously, you're not.
Or if one of them is even real.
Or right, exactly. Is it all fake? And you don't. The passage of time is greatly confused. You know.
How long have we been on this pod?
Rock.
It was pod. Pod is short for podcast.
Oh,
it was a joke.
That's
for
lame.
For us.
This pod. No one says that.
Everybody says that.
I've never heard one. What's your favorite pod? I'd be like, what?
Well, no one says it like that. Like, never mind. Whatever.
Okay. If Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe had a podcast, would you listen to it?
Oh.
And by them, I mean they're characters from The Lighthouse.
Yes.
That's what they should have done. Instead of going crazy, they should be like, what do you think if we saw a podcast in The Lighthouse? Aye. But he thinks it's a great idea. Winslow. Whatever.
What?
Very good.
Fantastic
film. They had that auction where they sold the carving he did of the mermaid for like $150,000 or something.
Nice.
For just a little wooden thing.
Bet you Howard from Uncut Gems would love that.
He would love that. He would. I don't know. But The Lighthouse, cannot recommend it enough.
It's fantastic.
Watch
it.
Challenging.
It's on Prime Video.
Well, you know, like I said, we were talking about how Mandy and what's the other one I said? Whatever. Mandy would be like great to just put on as like an art piece. This movie also works that way, but it also works as a movie.
Right.
You know, it's where it kind of separates the boys from the men.
Yeah.
You know? The men from the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for Willem Dafoe. What a good sport. His dick is so big that they had to use a fake one in like the Antichrist, I think, because people would think that his real one was fake because it's so huge. Did you know that?
Willem Dafoe?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, your dick is too big. We have to use a fake one because no one's going to believe your dick is that big.
Good for him.
Good for him.
That's amazing.
That's good. I'm glad.
Good for Willem Dafoe. Next up, we have an absolutely horrifically disgusting movie.
Yeah.
It goes by the name of Raw.
Raw. That was the movie's thing. Was that it's gross. That's how it sold itself.
It is atrocious.
I feel like even in the trailer or something, they were like, people walked out of the theater because of the grossest scene.
I believe it.
Yeah. What to you was... Well, okay. What's the movie about? And also, who is it?
Right. It is directed by Julia Ducournau.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're the French guy here. How would
Probably
you say that?
Ducournau or something like that.
See, I wasn't even close. So good thing you said it.
Yeah.
But I can get Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
It's
actually Julia.
Julia.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about a girl who is a vegetarian, and she's going to vet school because like her whole family goes to vet school, or they're all veterinarians. She goes to vet school.
They're all vet and veg.
And and vet school is like really bad with like the hazing of the new people, and they make them like eat raw meat and stuff, and really do bad things to them.
Yeah.
But she kind of develops a taste for it, and then she gets really tasty for it, and she kind of becomes a cannibal.
Yeah. And so since we talked about how gross this film is, what do you think is the grossest part to you?
I literally was gagging at the hair part.
The hair part. It's hands down.
I was like gagging.
You have this young girl bowled over a toilet.
I don't even like thinking.
Right?
I can like feel it.
And she's coughing up these chunks of hair. And at one point, both hands pulling the hair. It's like knotted in her throat.
Please stop.
Out of her throat.
I have to drink.
Into this toilet bowl. Oh,
It is truly awful.
It's rough watching that scene. and it's like not the cannibalism. Like,
I know.
You know, it's strange that that's the scene that's like really messed up, but it's not. I also thought the scene with the dog and the finger was at least very unsettling. You know, just because, it's just a gross situation.
Yeah, it's when she like cuts her finger off, and the one chick passes out. I like this, and she's like sitting there, and she's like trying to figure out what to do, and she sees like the finger laying there, and she picks it up, and then like the score kicks in. It's like doo doo doo. And I was like, oh my, she's gonna eat her finger.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she goes like chicken wing on it. She's like,
yeah, it's that's also gross. But the whole thing with this film, the plot with the roommate was a little weird to me. Like turning the gay roommate or something, like it was just a little strange to me. It doesn't take away that much, but I was just like, weird choice to make it this specific thing. I didn't understand the choice that much. You know, it felt kind of arbitrary by the end of the movie. But the big reveal at the end is that, you know, they all have to make sacrifices for the women in the family, and Daddy takes off his shirt.
and he's like, I'm sure you'll figure something out. And I was like,
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, he sates his wife's cannibalism. Not a fetish, it's just cannibalism. It's just a need by just feeding himself to her a little bit, just every once in a while, I guess. Holidays, maybe.
Seems like a lot. His whole torso is like destroyed.
But, you know, they have children. They've probably been together for a very long time.
They're deeply in love.
You'd have to be pretty deeply in love to be like, literally have my flesh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I have some more? No.
What the fuck?
Right.
It's so weird.
And then the whole middle of the movie is, she obviously doesn't know that her parents are cannibals and everything. She doesn't know anything about that, but their whole family is like that. And just struggling. You know, you can relate it to other things. You know, like you could pretend that she's like a lesbian. Like, oh, this is about being a lesbian. It works, sort of.
It's about peeing while standing up.
Yeah, it's about a lot of things. I don't know. I do like the film.
It is good.
It is good. It
just has its parts where you want to just leave.
I'm just glad that, because when you hear gross out film, you're like, okay, how much blood it's going to be? Yeah, it's blood, blah, blah, blah. And it's not that. It's good. It's refreshing. Because whenever I hear grossest film ever, it's like, okay, there's going to be blood, probably like pus or something. Mm-hmm. But that throat hair, ugh.
Please stop saying it.
Throat hair.
Stop.
All right. Yeah.
My favorite thing about this movie is probably the score.
Yeah.
I really like what's the instrument?
I don't know.
It's like it's like a keyboard, but not a keyboard.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a music person.
Whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
They use that for like the whole score. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's effective.
And it's very catchy. It's like one of the scores that I would like listen to outside of the movie.
I like scores that are themed like that, where it's like this instrument, and you just run with it. You know, even if it might seem a little cheesy, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Raw, really gross.
Yeah, it's a very raw experience.
Literally.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a foreign film directed by
Well, Raw's
Jin
French.
Na.
Raw's
Right. Raw is a French movie.
So another foreign film.
Another foreign film. And Revenge is like half French.
Yeah. French director, I believe. So
Yeah. So our third foreign movie, The Wailing, from 2016, directed by Hong Jin-na.
yeah.
What'd you think of The Wailing? Long. This movie's long.
This movie's like 2 hours 40 minutes, something like that.
Very long.
An hour into this movie, I was like, why is he making me watch this? And then the next hour and a half, I was like, that's why he's making me watch this. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have that experience with this movie. I think this movie is like a test of your patience, though.
For sure.
Honestly did that, because the whole setup is like what I felt like the filmmakers are doing are just like, they trick you into thinking you're watching a bad movie, but you're actually watching a good movie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the vibe that I got. I was like, this just seems kind of like a run-of-the-mill sort of shitty zombie movie. And then it kind of turns everything on its head, and you're like, oh, I get it. But it takes an hour to get there. Probably more than an hour to actually get to the good stuff. Obviously, the best parts being like the last 30 minutes, which are very good. What did you think of it?
I very much like this movie. I don't even know how I came across this movie.
I was going to ask.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just was like, I might have just like found it on accident, but I was like, this looks interesting.
It's cool.
And I watched it, and once I got to there's like right in the middle, that exorcism scene is like awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
The plot is basically that this guy, okay, there's a lot of plot that happens. Basically, this guy is a police guy. There's like a strange murder that happens, and the dude's like really messed up, but he looks like a zombie, just to make things simple for everybody. Looks like he's been a zombie. He murdered his wife or whatever.
Sure.
Goes back. People are acting weird. There's a lot of people walking around being weird. His daughter gets sick, right? And his daughter starts acting like a freak. And he's like, okay, now I need to get to the bottom of this. They're like, it's that Japanese dude who just moved to town. It's his fault. They try to go after the Japanese dude. The shaman helps his daughter, right? And then there's this other woman who said she saw the murders and she knows what's happening. And there's like 3 opposing forces just all like fighting each other, trying to get what they want. And I mean, we should try to explain. I mean, what do you think at the end? By the end, I feel like it's pretty clear at the end.
Yeah.
What exactly is
the
going
final
on.
30 minutes is like double. It's like a double plot twist.
Yeah, it's like The Handmaiden almost.
Yeah, literally. It's so the whole time you think that the Japanese dude is like evil, like casting these curses on people, but then you're like, oh no, it's not. It's this lady
who's actually this mad spirit.
Yeah,
like seeking revenge or something.
Thing.
Yeah.
And the Japanese dude is trying to stop her.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. But then you figure out that that's not the case, and the Japanese dude is like actually a demon.
Yeah, he's like a for real demon, nails
with horns coming out of his
everything.
head. And the shaman is like in on it the whole time. Yeah. It's real crazy.
That's the thing that I'm not sure about. Is the shaman in on it the whole time? I think that the shaman might have been
like tricked.
Not tricked, but like turned or like sort of, I don't know. It just, some of the motivations where, and this is like maybe the one small problem I have with the film, is that I feel like the movie tricks the audience too hard, because you have scenes where this demon is like afraid when no one's like around. He's like having like these really human emotions when there's like no one to like fool, you know? He's acting very human when he's alone, which I thought was just like, I was like, that seems a little unfair to the viewer. It's like, there's no way you would have been like, oh yeah, this guy's actually a demon. Because you see him alone, just being a person and having like these real emotions or whatever. It just seemed like a strange choice. And then the shaman, didn't they contact the shaman to bring him? And it was like that specific shaman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which also seemed weird. It's like you got the guy who's working with the demon.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe the shaman, because remember he was doing the ritual and the demon was like dying. Remember the Japanese man was like, oh, and he was like, stop. And then he stopped dying.
He interrupts it.
So that makes me think that the shaman was originally a
and
good
at that
guy.
Point in the movie is when
he turned
and
got under like the demon's thrall or whatever, you know? That's the point that makes the most sense to me. But I do feel like that is almost like glossed over and a little unclear, you know? All that I do know is that they're both definitely evil by the end of it. And I think the spirit is good.
The lady,
yes.
Yes.
You find out she's definitely a spirit because her face turns blue, which is a thing that all those movies love to do with spirits, is make their faces just like blue. And she had this like plant ward that was like, if you wait for the 3rd rooster cluck, rooster call, the ward will stay up. Well, she doesn't say that, but she's like, you'll be safe. And he doesn't do it, and so her little thing like shrivels up and dies, and allows like the demon to.
And then his whole family is.
And his whole family is murdered, like Sinister.
Yeah,
kind of like Sinister. There's parallels definitely with the little girl killing the family. She did a great job. The young actress.
Yeah, the child actress. Yeah, she's really good.
Very demanding performance for
Yeah,
this little girl.
they're asking a
screaming
they're asking a lot.
a lot of her, but she pulled it off, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I wanted to point out, or no, I want to say they're both evil because of the spirit. I didn't get to finish this. Is there was a deleted scene apparently. That the demon and the shaman like drove off together, and the spirit like watched them from the edge of town because she like can't leave or something, which kind of confirms that they're totally together and they're going to the next town to do the next kill or whatever.
Yeah.
I think a line that I really liked was the father who was very desperate. He was like, "Why my little girl? Like, why does this have to happen?" And the dude's like, "When you go fishing, do you know what you're gonna catch?" And it's like, "Oh, you know what?" So he's just fishing. He's just doing whatever, and whoever takes the bait, they're done for. Which I thought was such a chaotic thing. It added another level of fear because it's like it really could have been anyone. It wasn't planned. It almost makes it scarier, kind of. It's like it could have been anyone.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It's very good. The Wailing. Check it out.
One more thing. I also think that the father's journey as a character, from being kind of almost down on his luck kind of acting to a impassioned man by the end of it, was effective, helped by the runtime probably because he just had so much time to develop.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
And even if you're like not interested in this movie, just like look up the Wailing exorcism scene and just watch that like 15. It's kind of long.
It's pretty long,
but
I don't think it would be as effective without context.
Yeah, but
still cool.
Good.
Yeah. What's next?
From 2014, we have The Babadook.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I need to look something up. Let's talk about The Babadook.
Babadook. Can you do the thing?
Oh sure, yeah. Okay, let's hear it.
Babadook.
Spot on. That was spot on. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
What did you think of The Babadook? So you knew this meme first.
Yep, I knew the meme before I knew the movie.
Yeah. And the meme we're talking about is...
It's a good meme.
It is a good meme. There's a little kid in the back of a car and the mom just shouts, "Why can't you be normal?" And whatever you want to make fun of is the kid.
The kid, and he's like screaming like, "Ah!"
Right, yeah. Like Americans in the footage.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this movie.
This movie is weird. It's almost would have been better if it wasn't like a monster movie. To me. If they would have just gotten rid of the monster, I almost would have been like, yeah, okay.
But that's, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Is it all psychological?
Well, right.
But like the thing with at the end where she like has it in the basement. It's like makes me
like
think
Shaun
that
of the
it's
Dead.
real.
Yeah.
Instead of her just like manifesting in her head because she's she's going kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the kid is very annoying.
The kid,
I think he's almost too annoying for the movie.
I was getting really mad early on, but he kind of gets better towards the end. But like early on, I was like, this kid, I would just kill him.
I know this is a thing. It's one of those things that we talk about where it's like bling ring, you said?
The bling ring.
Right, where it's like they're really annoying, but it's like the point. It's a small line that you have to kind of, be careful not to cross. Because as soon as you cross it and it becomes too annoying, the movie's like done, So I really think your mileage may vary depending on how insufferable you find this kid to be, and he's bad.
It's really bad.
But again, it's obvious that the filmmakers want you to hate him like the mom does. They want you to have this ire towards him to kind of put you in her shoes a little bit as an empathy tool almost. But it's bad.
It is really bad.
Do you think the Babadook is threatening?
No.
I agree. I don't think the Babadook's very threatening at all.
I actually laughed. I laughed at this movie one time.
I did too. What part?
When she's in the bed, the first time you actually see it.
And it makes the Megazord noise or whatever.
And you like see it and it like is on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I like laughed. I thought it was like funny.
There's a part where it makes this noise. I don't remember what the creature was called, but there's some creature in Power Rangers that makes literally the same exact noise as the Babadook. And it just made me think of the Power Rangers when I was watching the scene. It was totally unedited. It was like the same exact clip. You can like look it up and find it. and it's like I was just took me so because it's a threatening creature, and it makes I was expecting the Power Rangers to bust through the wall and be like, "It's morphin' time," and take him down.
It's morphin' time,
but they didn't.
Yeah, the Babadook itself is just not very scary.
Yeah, it could have been a lot more effective if the thing was a lot more terrifying.
Yeah,
even if they didn't show it.
Probably
would have been better.
it was good up until with like just the build up and like hearing the noises of it or
and
whatever.
You see the illustrations of it.
The pictures are scary.
Right. So I think combining those illustrations and then not actually showing what it actually looks like, just showing the terror of people seeing it, would have probably been a lot more effective. And also don't make the Power Rangers noise is my second critique.
Yeah.
You know? I remember this movie was kind of a big deal when it came out. People were like, oh, the Babadook. Whatever, they shipped him with Pennywise, I remember.
Oh.
Yeah, Babadook and Pennywise were like gay icons for a while. I guess. I don't know.
Very nice.
Very nice. Pennywise was like, my wife, the Babadook. You are for having a good time? I don't know. Babadook, obviously mostly a psychological aspect to the movie.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And it's almost as effective as it wants to be, I think. You know, it almost gets there. I like the palette for a lot of it. A lot of the gray, really drab look. I actually dig it because it almost feels like a set in a weird way.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a set, but I kind of dug the aesthetic with that, to me.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't remember the score, so
Neither do I. I remember the mom's performance. I don't know the actress's name, but I thought she was very good.
Yeah, she had to carry
literally the whole movie.
So yeah, she did what she had to. Yeah, because imagine if the mom wasn't as good of an actress. Oh, this movie would suck.
It would be very not good.
But instead, the movie's just fine.
Yep,
just fine. Sinister still the worst movie on the list so far.
Yeah,
and probably.
Definitely, because the next movie is the best movie on the list.
Oh, gotcha.
Because the very last movie that we're going to talk about is from 2017.
Yeah.
We started the list off with a Nicolas Cage movie.
Mandy.
And we're ending the list with another Nicolas Cage movie. My personal favorite Nicolas Cage movie, favorite Nicolas Cage performance.
Okay.
This movie is Mom and Dad, directed by Brian Taylor, the legend.
Mom and Dad. Good. I mean, it's good. How many times have you watched this movie?
Probably in its full, like 4 or 5.
Okay, I've seen it once, but I liked it.
It's fantastic.
It's another one with a terrific premise, I think. I think it's super interesting, even though they barely talk about it.
Screw it. Doesn't matter.
It's really interesting to me. What's going on?
Premise of the movie is literally randomly, out of nowhere,
it just happens.
All of the parents on the entire planet just like get this like crazy, I guess, just like idea in their head.
Yeah.
Where they just want to kill their children.
They have to.
Only their children. They don't no matter, they're just totally normal people, but they will just straight murder their children.
Yeah. And they gotta, like, it's not like, oh, I should. It's like, no, I have to kill my children.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not mindless. They're like funny about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not just like crazy monster. It's like, no, they'll still talk to you while they murder you, you know?
They still love you.
They still love you. They just want you to die.
It's great. And Nicolas Cage is the dad.
Yes.
And Selma Blair is the mom.
I love Selma Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have 2 kids.
Boy and a girl.
One is like a teenage
I
mean, she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
But she's like annoying.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And then there's like a little kid boy.
Yeah, little boy. And they got to kind of defend themselves against their parents. And it's a very interesting dynamic when you take something like this, because since they're not zombified and obviously not human anymore, there's a part of it where you're like, I don't want to kill my parents. Like, I don't want to hurt my parents even though they want to kill me. So it's an actual interesting dynamic where there's like a pretty good reason for why you don't just shoot them in the face. You know what I mean? It's a zombie. It's like, okay, look, they're done. But this is like they're still talking, they're breathing, they're walking around.
Yeah.
They just really want to kill me. I don't know. Side note, my mother loves this movie.
Same. It's fantastic.
I don't know what that says, that if your parents love a movie about parents killing their children.
I don't know. All I know is this movie's underrated.
Probably, isn't it?
Extremely.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's not overlooked though. People know, right?
No.
No?
People don't know.
I guess people don't know.
That's why I'm here.
They don't know about the Sawzall?
Screaming it. It saws all.
The Sawzall.
It saws all. I mean, there's literally like 50 quotes.
Yeah.
We love quotable movies.
We do.
There's like 50 from this movie, and 35 of them go to Nick Cage.
Yes, yeah, he's good.
Just some of my favorite Nick Cage moments
In this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best ones is when the kids are hiding in the basement, and the mom is like trying to get him to come out of the basement, and Nick Cage just like runs up to the door, and he's like, "Your motherfucking mother told you to open the door,
Right.
and motherfuckers."
Yeah. No, he's outrageous in this movie. I mean, he's always outrageous, but especially just going crazy, and it makes the movie so much better. Like,
He is going
like we said,
all for it.
If they weren't doing what they were doing, like this crazy Nick Cage thing, it wouldn't have been as effective of a movie.
Absolutely not.
You know, he makes it very entertaining. I mean, if I had to critique the movie, I guess the kid actors could have been a little bit better.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
I agree.
Like, there are certain parts in the movie, I felt this for It Follows too, where I was like, they're not scared even a little bit.
Oh.
It Follows especially. There's one point where I swear, like, she was being attacked by her hair, and they're all just kind of like looking around. We're just like, oh. And in this movie, there's a few times where I was like, okay, kid, your mom is trying to kill you. Let's see some kind of expression.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But again, I guess it's more of a nitpick. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe some of the flashbacks are a little silly, but
Like the very first one where it's just like the tits in the
yeah,
car.
just in the car, and he's like, yeah. But some of them are great.
Yeah.
Especially the one where he builds the pool table in the basement.
Yeah.
And his wife comes down and she's like, "What are you doing?" And then he gets really upset. And he just like starts destroying the pool table with a sledgehammer while singing the Hokey Pokey.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then he just starts crying.
Yeah, I don't know. Would most people like this movie?
I don't know how you couldn't. I really don't know how you couldn't.
I feel like people would think this movie was like too goofy.
No.
You know what I mean? I feel like people aren't ready for murder and goofiness just yet, like the general audience. Maybe they're just not prepared for that.
I'm just thinking about the part where he's talking to the daughter's boyfriend, and who gets beat up in this movie big time.
The rest of the podcast, the next 2 hours, is just going to be basically talking about scenes from this movie.
And he's like talking to him, and he's like, "What are you doing in this house?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, these kids these days with everything on the internet. He's like, mouth to dildo, dildo to ass, ass to ass, anal beads.
Beads. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. And he's like, "That stuff I can only see in magazines."
Right.
Nick Cage is just running
and obviously,
the house.
it is like part of it is like, is it trying to say like parents' true nature at times almost? Because I think most parents, maybe not kill, but like most parents would be like, oh, there's times where they hate their kids. You know what I mean? So is it just drawing on that kind of idea and taking it to its extreme, you know? That's a pretty good formula, I think, for this movie.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah.
And then right near the end, they got their kids basically trapped and the doorbell rings.
Yeah.
And then they open the door and they forgot that Nick Cage's parents were coming over for dinner.
Mom and Dad.
And they show up and then they're trying to kill them.
Yeah.
It's all good fun. And then both the grandparents end up dying.
Yeah, that's kind of I never really thought about that, actually.
And then the mom and dad are still alive.
Yeah.
And then the kids have them tied up in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
and then it literally just ends.
It just kind of ends.
Um,
They're just like weird times, huh?
Yep. It just ends.
I feel like it ends and it basically goes like, you just watched a weird movie, huh?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
It has a really weird like score with like some of the editing. Like it'll be like it's almost like Transformer noises.
Really? I don't remember that.
Like them, like when the Transformers like shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's kind of like that. Where like there's this one time where like the kid like accidentally knocks over like a picture onto the floor, and then the camera like jump cuts like 3 times, and it's like
that
and
yeah.
the soundtrack
I wouldn't
is like
call that the Transformers noise. That's not what I'd call that. It's just like
it's so weird.
I don't know what I'd call that,
but I love it so much.
Yeah,
Mom and Dad is just a great movie.
Then pick up the Criterion release,
dude. I have this movie already on Blu-ray, but I mean it'll probably never happen. But Lord, do I want a Criterion release of Mom and
It'd be nice.
Mom and Dad. I would just love
nice.
it. You want to do some honorable mentions?
Sure, I guess. What do you got?
Well, I just feel like we need to at least acknowledge
Ari Aster,
Hereditary, and Midsommar.
Yeah. Ari Aster, you make good stuff. Please make your 4-hour nightmare comedy, whatever it was called.
Yes. I mean, Hereditary is like one of my favorite movies of the past decade.
Yeah.
It's just
we just felt that
incredible. It's like
there's
our last
discussion about it. We just wanted to get some other
popular
stuff. I mean, obviously people have talked about the Babadook and it follows a lot, but you get what we mean.
Right.
You know?
The Witch.
The Vavitch.
The other Robert Eggers movie.
I love that movie. Black Phillip. If you're watching, we have a little Funko Black Phillip.
Right
that
there.
one. He's great. The goat's still alive as far as I know. He's living a very happy life. He's living deliciously, I heard, last time I heard.
What's it now like to live deliciously?
Exactly. I love that movie. It's good. Check it out.
Yeah. I have The Invitation, which you recommended to me.
Yeah, I did recommend that to you. That was good.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Green Room.
Yeah, it's, you could argue thriller, but it's got so many horror elements that I see it as horror.
The Endless. You ever seen The Endless?
Mm-mm.
It's like a sci-fi fantasy horror.
Is that the one with the worm?
No.
Oh, the cool poster.
Yes. The cool poster.
Yeah.
By Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. They have a new movie that is like coming out or just came out. I don't know how to see it. It's called Synchronic, but I want to see it, but I don't know how. But anyway, and this last one. This one I actually had on my list, but then I changed it last second.
Okay.
Don't Breathe.
Yeah. 2016, I think.
Yeah. The one where they try to rob the blind guy.
Yeah.
And then the blind guy
They're making a second one,
gets
right?
him good. Oh, really?
I think so.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I really like Don't Breathe. It has some really interesting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, any of the zombie movies we talked about that would have been 2010s, those.
Right, yeah.
You know, I don't know. Get Out would be one that I definitely...
Get Out,
for sure.
Good, yeah. For sure.
Not Us.
I haven't seen Us because he told me it was really bad and I shouldn't see it, so I haven't seen it.
I really don't like Us. I think its problems are... I mean, it's a discussion for another time, but it just has too many problems that it refuses to address. I watched a really good, another Shudder original. Not really good, but it was good. It was called Haunt. It was about a bunch of kids going to a haunted house, and it turns out they're like just actually getting murdered.
Oh, nice.
That was really fun. It was one of those movies where it had a lot of potential, and I feel like it's a little bit wasted, you know, but still good overall. A lot of Shudder originals, honestly. Blood Quantum, the zombie one, that was good.
Blood Quantum.
I like that. Any Shudder original.
Just put it on my Shudder original, just on the list.
Host. I talked about Host. Host was good. That was 2020 though, so
yeah, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
We'll talk about it in 10 years.
In 10 years.
At the next, we'll do the 2020s horror.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the Host. Or Host.
Host. Just
not
Host.
The Host.
Yeah,
Host.
just Host.
So yeah.
So,
all
yeah.
right. Boom. We did it.
2010s all summed up. You never need to watch another movie from the 2010s that is the horror genre ever again.
Yep. We got all
Don't
of
you feel good?
I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to just like Avada Kedavra somebody.
I feel like I just want to give him the heater. You know?
Stupefy.
If you forget, I'm dressed as Ricky Vaughn from Major League.
And I'm Lucius Malfoy. Clean up hitter.
Yeah, hitting Marilyn in the face with your serpent rod. Anyway, it's time for something else.
You know what time it is.
You know. You already know.
You know what time it is.
What time is it?
It's time for the reviews of the week.
Yeah, reviews of the week. Let's go. What do you got? You want to go first? You went first last time, right? Maybe I should go first.
Sure.
1 out of 10 stars. October 16th, 2019 was when this movie was rated. Title is Beat Your Kids. People say this movie has tons of symbolism, but the only symbolism I see is that if you don't discipline your kids, they grow up into serial killers or mass shooters. An hour and a half of cheap scares and effects mixed with a whining psychopath 6-year-old who you wish got put down faster than a one-legged horse.
So the Babadook.
The Babadook.
Okay.
But I just like, you read titles of reviews, and some of them are like a disappointment, and then you see like relied too much on jump scares, whatever, and then you just see beat your kids. It's an attention grabber.
It jumps out.
Exactly. No, props to the writer,
Good
whoever
stuff.
he may be.
Mine has a big giveaway in it, so
Okay.
unfortunate for that. But here we go. 1 out of 10. It's like documentary, not film. Concept and true story of film is stupid people caught. Try to stole expensive books by FBI. Waste film. WTF. Title, American Animals. Change the title. American Stupids.
Okay. American Stupids. That's the Green Day song, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Taking a Deborah Logan.
You got it.
Damn, yeah.
You got
nice.
it. American Stupids.
American Animals in theaters, never.
Maybe there'll be a re-release.
Like Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. It's, where you can send a letter or an email to.
You can email us. Did you know that?
Did you?
It's
Maybe
crazy.
you don't. Maybe this is the first time you're listening to us. And
Yeah. You can send us,
I'm not actually Ricky Vaughn.
the two of us.
Yeah.
An email at the Stagler, Stagler, pod, P-O-D, at gmail.com. The Stagler pod at gmail.com. It's easy. It's accessible. You can send us a question. You can send us comments. You can tell us we suck. Send an idea for a spotlight for one of our next shows.
That'd be great. That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, literally. So, do that. Send us an email.
Yeah.
And we'll answer it on the show.
It
Unless
might
you give us
sound-
like an idea.
If you send us an email,
Send us a question, we'll answer it on the show.
it might sound something like this.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, guys. Happy Halloween to you as
Happy
well.
Halloweeny.
If you had to pick your favorite movie monster, who would it be? Answer this question first, both of you, please. Well, I would go with Godzilla if he's a monster, right?
My favorite movie monster?
Godzilla pretty much hands down, like really easily. Second place would be the Xenomorph.
The Xenomorph is cool.
But do those count as monsters? I mean, they are monsters, right? If I had to pick a monster, like not actually, like Godzilla's like a kaiju, like reptile thing.
Monster.
Yeah, he is a monster, and he is called a monster in the movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If I had to pick one that was like distinctly only one type of this creature, it's totally unique monster, it would be the Brundlefly from The Fly.
Okay.
Which is part human, part fly, part metal door by the end of it.
Interesting. Metal
Very
door.
Cool. Yeah.
Huh. I'm thinking about this. Monster.
I also like the Gremlins.
My favorite monster.
I'm just trying to list some so you get some. The Gremlins, I like those.
No.
The Thing.
No.
Okay. Terrorvision monster.
I know what it is.
Okay.
The Blob.
The Blob. Okay.
It's the Blob.
Okay. So mine's Godzilla and yours is the Blob.
The Blob.
And then it says, all right, now which one would win in a fight? Probably Godzilla.
The Blob.
What do you think?
You can't beat the Blob. The Blob would just eat Godzilla.
Atomic fire might beat.
I don't know.
Blob,
You're
though.
right.
It's pretty powerful.
Well, wait. What is the Blob? Doesn't like cold,
Is it cold?
right?
I forget.
I think it doesn't like cold. So like if you hit it in the freezer, the blob wouldn't go for you.
Okay.
So Godzilla is getting torched by the blob. It's actually not close now that I think about it, because Godzilla is all about hotness.
Well, yeah. Or radiation. How does the blob feel about radiation?
I don't know.
Also, Godzilla can stand the cold. He's been frozen in ice for like millions of years before. He's been like fine.
The blob wouldn't go. But if we were...
It depends. I guess it's a depends. You know, it also depends if
it's close.
if Godzilla like knew about the blob, or was the blob like sneaking up?
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
it also depends like what time of the... Is it the blob right when it, came to Earth?
Right,
or is it
exactly.
after it ate 50,000 people and is like ginormous?
And which Godzilla is it?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things here
But
going on. But
if it was really big, giant blob, and you pick the Godzilla, I'm picking like big, ginormous blob
Shin
that's about the
Godzilla.
same size.
Shin Godzilla.
And you're going with Shin Godzilla.
So that it can evolve to do cold and win.
Then the blob probably loses.
Right.
But
He has a good fighting chance, though.
it's close.
It's close. It's close.
The blob, I mean, if Godzilla lets his guard down, the blob could just eat him.
Now, what do you think? You've never seen The Fly?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so what do you think between the Brundlefly and the blob?
It's
Part
gotta
fly,
be the
part
blob.
human, part metal door. Well, I'll just tell you that at the end of The Fly, the Brundlefly is suicidal, so blob would probably win.
I love it.
But yeah, thank you for the email.
Yes, thank you. I love it.
Well,
We made it.
we made it. It's come again, that time, where we must bid you adieu. If you're out there and celebrating Halloween, maybe you should have a do. Mountain Voodoo. We are not sponsored, but they should. for what I'm doing here.
Hit us up.
The Voodoo, I think they might have released the flavor because it's a mystery flavor. I think they might have released what it is. I think I said caramel apple.
It's probably like vampire blood.
I think last year was like candy corn or last one.
Oh,
It was good though.
okay.
I mean, it tasted just like sugar, but
yeah,
it was good.
Interesting.
The Voodoo, check it out if you haven't, at a store near you.
Yeah.
Next time Wait, what? What are we talking about next time? Oh, video game
movies.
Movies. Because,
Yeah.
guys, listen. By the time next episode comes out, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, I assume, will have released. He might have one by next episode.
If I can get one, I'll try my darndest
Right.
to acquire this ever elusive PlayStation 5
machine. He might have one, but we're going to talk about video game movies specifically. So we're going to figure out what that means. We're going to put what restrictions we need to on that. And we're just going to talk about a bunch of them. Not the best.
Are any of them good? There might be
I
a few that are okay.
heard the Tomb Raider one was...
It is. I have seen
Yeah,
it. It is
I thought it
okay.
was okay. I think Ratchet and Clank is fine. But
Okay.
again, I love Ratchet and Clank, but I feel like I can remove my bias. It's fine. The rest, well,
We'll see.
we'll talk about
That'll
it.
be fun.
We'll talk. Maybe we'll find the one that nobody knows about,
The one.
and we'll be like, "This is it. This is the good one."
Pac-Man, the movie. Oh, Pixels. Duh.
Pixels. I guess Pixels is it. So next time, join us for 3 hours. We're going to talk about Pixels the whole time.
Yep.
But until then, we'll see you later. I've been Ricky Vaughn, also known as Justin. I don't think I said my name this episode.
And I'm Lucius Malfoy, also Nick. That's my name.
And that's Marilyn. And you're the listener. What's your name? Ted? It's probably Ted.
Ted Beneke.
We're wrapping up. We're getting close to the end of the year. It's not going to be quite a year, but it'll be the end of the first year that we started the show. Exciting coming down to the end here.
Yeah.
We get to continue forever
And ever.
and
And
ever
ever.
and
And
ever
ever.
and
And
ever
ever. And ever.